All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, September the 17th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always. It's none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
This thing does not fit
over your headphones. We've tried it before. We know that.
We haven't tried it with the cowboy hat. But the whole thing with the cowboy hat, though, is this thing fits so damn well. I could be like in a hurricane. It won't come off my damn head.
I know. I was. You were.
Yeah, that's right. We were.
At Atlantic City. That thing was not moving off of your head.
That thing did not come off my head. It hardly moved. But no, I was wearing that because it's National Country Music Day and
Happy International
Country Music Day, as opposed to
think about that. International Country Music Day. That almost doesn't make sense.
Well, no, I think it makes sense because you could play Indian raga. That's their country music, right?
All right, fair enough.
Right, you can play, an Irish, sing an Irish ditty.
That's their country's music, not their necessarily like country music. Like I would argue that jazz is more America's country's music than country music is. Right? Well, I'm saying
they both had similar. Well, let's face it, almost all music in the United States had similar roots.
Right.
But I don't know. But the country music, we got we got both kinds of music, country and Western.
Yeah, exactly.
Blues Brothers. No, but so we'll do that. I mean, I'm not, John, I'm not a big fan of country, especially the modern stuff. I like the old stuff. My grandfather was a truck driver.
Yeah, no.
I grew up on Johnny Cash.
And
Willie Nelson.
Hank Williams.
Yeah.
George Strait.
George Strait's a little newer than
it's still 70s, really, George.
The possum.
Sure.
He's tough loving her today. I mean, so much good stuff from back then. Today's it's too happy. No one. They meet, they fall in love, they have a great time, and he sings.
Yeah, that's completely opposite of what country music was 40 years ago.
Country music.
Country music is you lose your because country music is you lose your wife, you lose your kids, you lose your dog, you lose your house, you lose your car,
damn,
you lose your job.
Dog.
Right.
You missed it.
And you missed the dog more than anything, right?
You missed the dog.
Because that was the joke, right?
Maybe the kids a little bit.
That was the joke, right? The backmasting. If you put a country music record on and you put the needle on it, who the hell knows what we're talking about, right? Others put the needle on it, but you spin it backwards and you get your dog back, you get your car back, you get your job back.
Well, then there's the joke now with these self-driving cars. Now there could be a country western song about some dude's pickup truck leaving him. So we'll see. It's wide open with these things.
Gotcha. We have Vanessa Kitty commenting in. I'll throw it up really quick, and we can revisit it once we bring the guest on. But I'll put it up right now because it's part and parcel of what we're talking about right now. She says hello. She's watching on YouTube. She's currently up in Massachusetts at a trucking yard waiting for her brother to return with the tractor truck. And then she said, oldie country music today's seems mostly pop music. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's much more pop than it is what old school country music was. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. So, but we are a beer show, are we not?
We are a beer show. And on that note, there's a couple other days. I want to say happy National Apple Dumpling Day.
To your gang.
To the Apple Dumpling Gang.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there. The only reason I'm doing this is because I'm just hungry and I want one. And I got apple cinnamon yogurt covered pretzels. There we go.
It could be worse. It could be pumpkin spice yogurt pretzels.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure Jess has a bag of those, doesn't she?
They're downstairs.
Yeah, called that one.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, maybe I'll bring one. Maybe I'll bring one of them up in a couple of weeks.
Please, God, yeah, right. No, actually, you know what?
3 weeks, Big Zach.
Wait a second. Why do I always forget the name of the brewery in Texas? They can do a pumpkin spice yogurt.
Martin House.
Yeah, Martin House. Mm-hmm. Pumpkin spice yogurt pretzel beer.
Yep, they could.
Yeah, they could easily do that.
There you go.
I'd be surprised if they haven't already.
And somebody send them. We'll get in touch with Tony. He can get in touch with them, and they'll make it.
There we go.
And then we can announce it on the show, and there you go.
There we go. Maybe we do it as a collab. No, please. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to. Yeah, if we're gonna do a collab with anybody, it's not going to be the one we do.
Not that one. No.
So Anyway, all right. I'm thirsty. Are you thirsty?
I am so thirsty.
I'm sure our guest is as well. Let's bring him on. Please welcome to the show today, Mr. Rod J from Rod J Beer Ventures. How are you, Rod?
Hello. What's going on, fellas? My viewer made it to the show before I made it to the show.
I love it,
Vanessa.
There's a first.
Yeah, I'll continue. She made a couple of the comments too. She said, "Not enough heartache in today's country music. No good poets left." And then she said, "I have yet to make my apple dumplings. I was supposed to make them back on Friday, perhaps tomorrow. Please do and send a few along, please."
No, let's just road trip up to Massachusetts.
We can do that too. We can do that too.
Right, well, wait a second. Is that bridge on 95 is still down, isn't it? Let's see. It's a Western Massachusetts or Eastern Massachusetts. If it's Western, we're good. We can take the sawmill up.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go. That's fine.
Yeah, Vanessa's up in Connecticut, and she's also one of my moderators, so she's awesome. If you ever want to see the stuff she does, Vanessa M. Kitty on Instagram, she builds, she cooks, she does everything. She has for us, the shit hits the fan. We already know that's her house is where everybody's heading to in case of the apocalypse because she has everything taken care of. So,
well, you know what? Just pick us up along the way.
There you go. I got to come up to 55. I'm in Maryland, right? I got to come through Jersey now. So yeah,
you can tell by her profile pic that she's well armed.
Yeah, she is well armed.
We're set there for the zombie apocalypse. We're good.
You said, yeah, but guns don't work on zombies.
Yeah,
that's true.
In the head, right in the brain. In the brain. Gotta be in the brain. Gotta be a good shot there. Yeah.
She said, "Hi, Rod. Rod put out the bat signal, so here I am, and I subscribe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it." She said last year for Thanksgiving she made 5 families apple dumplings. 62 apple dumplings last year she made.
Again, to recycle the joke, she could feed a gang with that.
Yeah. She could.
The thing is, you gotta be RH.
I'm gonna have another one because these are actually pretty damn good.
For a change, this is weird. I'm usually the one eating at the beginning of the show. Not John's eating this stuff.
These are actually so good. I feel like as I'm biting through the apple cinnamon yogurt, I feel like I'm actually eating an apple. I'm not even kidding. I feel, like biting through an apple to get to the pretzel.
I really hope it's not that crusty.
That's good. The flavor.
The flavor. Okay. You said
feel. You said from
feel.
Aldi.
Excellent. We have an Aldi. Everyone's got a friggin' Aldi.
Yeah. And some sell alcohol. If you're lucky.
They do.
Some do. Not all of them, but some do.
In Jersey, only 2. If you're a supermarket chain, you can only have 2 stores that sell alcohol in the whole chain in the state. That's it.
Isn't it the one that begins with a W? One of them.
Wegmans.
Wegmans.
Right.
I think Wegmans is one. Yeah.
Chains are different because it's not the liquor license is an individual ownership. So chains are different. Like Wegmans can have multiple locations. Applebee's can have multiple locations. Yeah. Franchises are different too, obviously, but like Wegmans, they have them. But an individual owner, if somebody personally holds a liquor license, 2. You're allowed 2. That's it. I'm sorry. Don't get me started on that.
We're opening beers. I heard Rod crack one open. I'm like, good damn idea.
Do it.
Before we get on something else.
I'll just throw this up really quick. Vanessa, just say, Porto Semper, she said, very well armed, and I did 2 jobs in the United States Air Force. I usually only mention job 2.
You know what? I'm using the wrong Stiegel then, because I do have right up here. You can almost see it. There is a U.S. Air Force Stiegel up there. Air Stiegel, because my son is currently in the Air Force.
Son is in the Air Force. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
he said, I can't believe I beat Rod here following his lane.
It happens.
Up here, we had a lot of blue laws banning all sorts of stores from being open on Sundays. Yeah, there's a couple of towns in New Jersey, especially in Bergen County, the whole county, Paramus specifically. The whole county is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And being in the U.S. Air Force, I was a designated runner for Sundays for liquor runs. There you go. Gotta love it. All right.
Alrighty.
All right, Rob, what do you drink?
What'd you open?
I actually cracked one open here from the stuff we talked about earlier. So since it is the week of Oktoberfest, I have one Oktoberfest beer, but I didn't want to crack it open yet. So I did get a German beer though. So one I haven't had in a while, but it is the Hofbrau Dunkel.
Very nice.
There you go. So Hofbrau Dunkel, get the light out of it.
Nice.
So this is always a nice one. And funny thing about Hofbrau, when I lived in Kentucky in the Cincinnati area across the river, the Hofbrau house there was the first one done in the States from Hofbrau because of the German heritage through Covington, Kentucky. They were the first one to be licensed because their ties went back to Germany.
Wow.
And then later on, they expanded to other parts of the country, but they were the first one to actually have that. There you go.
I've only been to 3 Hofbraus. The Hofbrau in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh. Had so much fun in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And on Friday, I was at the one in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
I told John, I was like, yeah, I'll probably be down the next morning because I'm going to take it easy. 4 liters later.
Yeah.
He
only did 4 liters, so he did take it easy.
Yeah, that's it easy.
So what are you drinking there, Samurai?
Oh, well, I have 2 Oktoberfest beers, actually. If anyone was watching our channel, we did do an Oktoberfest from High Point Brewing.
We did.
They do the Ramstein beer brand. So we had some fun there. We even had
Rammstein, as the band is
Rammstein.
Rammstein.
But in German it's Rammstein, and that's the way that Greg's pronounced it.
Rammstein. Rammstein. Yeah.
But what I did, and it's because they're one of the ones that have an actual tent. Spaten.
A little Spaten Oktoberfest.
What a little classic. Now, what's really interesting is I don't know if you read the article that I sent in the group. There is someone they're trying to get in, and maybe the first brewery added to Oktoberfest in over 100 years.
But it's not the guys we had on the show when you were in Munich.
No, but they told me about it before I even
saw the article.
Before I saw this article, when I was in Munich and at Higgins Ale Works, they told me about Giesinger Brewing. Mm-hmm. And that we
talked about it. No, we talked about it on the show, actually.
We talked about it on the show that he built his brewery, out in the mountains, so he could drill down to the aquifer that is necessary to be included in Oktoberfest. So there's one thing he doesn't have, one requirement that everyone believes they'll waive. You have to have been brewing for 100 years. They may actually waive it for him. So, because he's followed every other criteria necessary, he wants it, and everybody else is pulling for him. So, John, do you have your beer poured?
I do. Well,
let's cheers Giesinger real quick before you tell us.
All right, fine.
And good luck to them. That'll be a
Cheers.
lot of fun. Cheers.
Cheers.
Prost.
Cheers.
Prost. Prost, Azor. There you go. Oh, it's good.
Oh, that's
really
better
good.
than I remember it. Oh, you know why? Because this isn't the straight up fest beer, Oktoberfest beer. This is the Marathon.
It is, yeah, right there.
Yeah, nice.
Thank God you said that right. You've been driving me crazy. It's not Marzen. God dang it! Like I see head brewers do it. Like, you're a head brewer. You're brewing it. You don't know how to pronounce the name. Between that and Berliner Weiss and calling it Berliner Weiss, like, how do you not? This is your industry. How do you not know how to pronounce the name of beers? And don't even get me when they do Goza wrong.
Can I have a ghost? No. Well, the thing is, and John knows.
I've heard many people pronounce it Gozer. Like, you're not ordering a ghost from Ghostbusters, all right?
Ghost. Gozer was a god.
601.
Yes. And a nimble little minx.
And a nimble little minx. Yeah. I'm going all German beer tonight. Not an Oktoberfest per se, because I didn't have one, but I'm going all German. Starting with one from the States, one from Connecticut, actually. Eredita Brewing. It's Just B. It's called. It's a Helles lager. So here.
Okay.
I like their stuff. I had one of their stouts that was actually pretty good.
And it's a Tavour buy.
Of course. Though you could have just crossed the border and got it.
I could have. Well, it would have cost me more to drive to get it than it would have just to order it.
Oh yeah, because of the toll into New York.
Exactly.
Rod, here's the beautiful thing about living in New Jersey. Every bridge and tunnel out of New Jersey, you have to pay a toll to get out of the state. Perfectly free to get in.
Yeah.
But you got to pay to get.
You got to pay to leave.
Yeah. Remember, I grew up in South Jersey, so yeah.
Right.
Where'd you grow up? Where in South Jersey?
Burlington.
Oh, Burlington.
Yeah. Burlington, Bristol Bridge, across from Philly. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God, that and the Tony Palmyra are the two scariest.
The Tony Palmyra. Yeah, I remember that one.
Because if you're driving a moving truck, which I did, there's a good shot you're going to lose your side mirror.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight.
Very tight. So, I think she's put up a few other comments here.
It's obvious she's waiting and bored.
Vanessa just shares. She always likes to share something, which is great. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going back. So it's this one. We'll start here.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Thank you to your son. She retired in '96. Buying liquor on any base except Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Any day, right? And she said on Hairbrow.
That's a Hofbrauhaus, I think.
That's autocorrect for
that's
you.
German. There you go. Yeah. Diner up here to Massachusetts from their place in Enfield, Connecticut. Town of Westfield, Massachusetts, has the nickname Whip City. And she said, cheers when we cheers.
Yeah.
I'm driving, so drinking water. Good Z, goo Z. Nice Connecticut. Yes, Connecticut. What company in Connecticut again? It's brewed in Vanessa, it's brewed in 12%. It's the contract brewing. Eruditas contract brewing out of North Haven from 12%. So, and then $20 plus on the George Washington. Absolutely, it's ridiculous.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little cheaper for Easy Pass, but if you're paying, it's not even cash anymore. It's tolls by mail. So if you don't have Easy Pass, they take a picture license plate and send you the bill. But if you don't have Easy Pass, it's over $20.
Well, the thing here, like being in Maryland now, I don't know why other states don't do it, but they do the Easy Pass just off your plate. You don't need the transponder box. And I tried that with one of the other states. They're like, well, you ran through Easy Pass. You didn't pay, but I got Easy Pass on my plate. Well, we don't do it on a plate. And like Maryland, they're like, no cash. All the other states want cash at the toll or they send you a bill that costs a little bit more. But it's like, why is not everybody just doing it on a credit card? It's so much easier. So.
It is. It's totally easier. New Jersey hasn't caught up yet. There's still, it's coming. I'm sure at some point it's going to be all, because there's no more. I don't know of any toll. I think on the Parkway, there's still a couple of toll booths that you can use cash, but that's it.
And Turnpike.
There's one or two, though.
Well, Jersey is a labor state, so I mean, because I still have friends go up there like, "What's the deal? I can't pump my own gas on." I mean, you're like, "Yeah, they won't let you pump gas." Like, why? Like every other state you can pump gas. They're like, "No, I mean, I think it's probably the unions, but they're keeping people employed." But yeah, most people come in, they want to pump their own gas.
I don't think it's the unions. I think it's the insurance lobby more than anything.
Yeah.
And we are the last state left. Once Oregon fell.
Yeah,
we're the holdouts. It's hilarious watching someone from New Jersey leave the state for the first time, have to fill up, and just sit in their car, waiting, hop in their horn. Guy, God, this place was awful.
I was down in.
And then they realized they got to pump their own and walk out and try to figure it out.
I was going. Where was it? I think it was in Connecticut. I was going up earlier this year. I was going up to Rhode Island, and I stopped to get gas on the Connecticut Turnpike. And I get out, I'm pumping the gas, and there's somebody just sitting in their car. And I noticed they're just sitting there. There's no gas hose or whatever. And I'm standing there, I'm pumping my gas, and they finally look over and they see me pumping the gas, and they're like, "Excuse me, could you please fill me up, please?" I'm like, I can't. I mean, I could, but I'm going to charge you.
Yeah. Make a quick 20.
Self-service. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Gotta love it. All right.
You got to put Vanessa's last comment.
Yeah, just got another
couple here. That's what.
She goes, don't do tolls by mail because it's more. I have to transponder 60%. 100%. Yeah, tolls by mail is definitely more.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely Easy Pass. New Jersey Garden State Parkway. How fast can you go through the toll booths and still be able to throw the token?
Here's the thing. A friend of mine and I, what we would do when we'd be driving down the parkway, whoever was in the passenger seat was responsible for over the top
over the car. Yeah.
We only ever missed once. And you just blow the horn and keep going because back then it was a quarter. It was a quarter.
Yeah. You blew the horn. You kept going. You called it a day. Like because there was no cameras. A lot of them. You know, somebody would put stuff down in the basket and it would block anything. So you put the money in and it didn't register. So you blew the horn and you went. I mean, they screwed up all the time. I can't tell you how many times.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have literally just pretended like you were throwing money in, blew the horn and went. You know. Yeah. But what you call? And then she said, "My mom's Berlinetta."
Man, the Chevy Camaro Berlinetta.
Berlinetta, wow! At 200 hours on the Garden State Parkway, coming back from Dover Air Force Base.
And here's the best part: is you've got a variant of the Camaro called the Berlinetta, and the Izod was still more guinea.
I rock.
I rock.
Izod was the shirt.
Yeah.
You wore the Izod to get into IROC.
And every IROC had the Playboy air freshener hanging from it.
Of course. She said, myself and the Berlinetta and two other vehicles were racing each other up the Garden State Parkway. Oh, all the time.
Never heard of such a thing.
Never.
All right.
Never did that in my Camaro.
All right, Rod. We're 22 minutes in. We still got to ask you the first question we ask everybody.
First question for everybody. All right.
We ask everybody. To the best of your recollection,
I was never at P. Diddy's house. Oh, sorry, that's not the question. Okay.
Alrighty, on to our second question.
All right, second question. What was to the best of your recollection? What was the first craft beer you ever had?
The first craft beer that I ever had. So, an interesting question there because the first craft beer I probably had, I wasn't really realizing it was craft beer. I mean, at the time, it was micro beers back in the 90s where we had like a little bit of micro pubs, but it was really before we really had the craft beer take off. Sure. So, like, we had stuff when I was living at the time in Kentucky around Covington. There was like a micro pub, and we had a lot of the different German type things. So, they would have been considered probably craft back then. But the first craft beer that put me on a craft beer journey was Ithaca's Flower Power IPA.
Sure.
That's a nice one to start.
Yeah. So we were at a company function. I wanted something different because in the 90s, I also bartended and stuff too. And I would go back and forth between beer and liquor. And I was kind of in a liquor type stage. I wanted something different. Didn't really want to, drink too much liquor being in a company thing. Asked for a different beer. And the bartender recommended me trying that beer, and it was like a light bulb went off when I had it. I mean, it was just something totally different, and that got me kind of rolling and going on the journey and seeking out all these other different craft beers.
That's awesome. The great thing I love about Flower Power is that is the beer that set the style for the Northeast or New England IPA. Mm-hmm. So many people point towards like Heady Topper or something like that. No, the Flower Power, they were groundbreaking.
Yeah,
that was an amazing beer. Still is.
Yeah.
Still is.
And it was like one of those moments, and I'm sure, depending on how deep people are in craft beer, but if you're deep into it, a lot of people can remember that first one where it kind of time slows down, and you're all of a sudden you're just frozen in and everything's just like slow. You're like, what is going on right here? And it gets burned into your memory. It gets etched in. And it's like I can still remember being there and being at that bar, sitting on the couch on a little patio setting, and just being thrown back by it. So,
and what was neat is the brewer of that beer left and opened up a brew pub. Why can't I remember the name of the brew pub? It was just up the Hudson.
No, I don't think that was the name of it.
That'd be a cool name for a brewery.
Just up the Hudson.
Just up the Hudson.
Yeah.
Peekskill Brewing.
Oh, Peekskill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There'll be Juff.
Mike Tyson now?
That's it, John. You got to do the rest of the show talking like Iron Mike.
I tell you, Jeff.
Can I have a Gotha? I need a Gotha.
Oh.
All right, so we can't have something that the acronym is just up the Hudson. That's not going to work. Anyway, all right. What's that?
Juff. I like that.
Juff, yeah, Juff.
Juff Bruin.
Exactly. I actually knew a girl back in the day that she had a best friend, and her name was Letha.
Letha.
Leetha.
God, I hope her nickname was Lethal Letha.
L-E. I'm not even kidding. Leetha.
Oh no, I believe it.
Letha.
Letha.
Gotcha.
All right, so what's your name? Letha. Lisa? No, Letha.
Hello, Letha. Yeah.
It'd be awesome if she was from Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody sounds like Mike Tyson when they're calling her name. It's Lisa, right? No, it's Letha.
Oh man, Letha Colt Jam.
Letha, and the Colt Jam. Yeah.
Mike Tyson, why are you making fun of me?
Exactly. What am I saying? Oh, I gotta love it. All right. So, all right. On that note, what was the first, to your best of your recollection, craft brewery you ever visited?
Oof. First craft brewery I ever visited. Let's see. So we'll take it from the time with the Flower Power. I was in Cincinnati. The first one like I said, that one I visited, we had there closed down. That was like a European type one, but Rheingeist was one of the bigger ones there. Braxton Brewing was big. Cincinnati has a great undercut beer scene. Like a lot of people aren't as familiar about all the good stuff there.
Cincinnati's beer scene. Yeah, I love Rheingeist. Rheingeist is a great space.
Yeah, so Rheingeist, the first owner of Rheingeist, or co-owner, actually used to work in the building I used to work in. He actually owned a coffee shop and we had been brewing coffee before he got into teaming up with the guys to come up with Rheingeist to brew beer. So it was kind of nice to see that transition and kind of having that connection. So when he went to Rheingeist, I was able to get a little behind the scenes type stuff and be able to really connect with them because I was familiar with them. But I think Rheingeist might have been the first one we kind of went to as far as like a craft brewery type thing. It would have either been that or Braxton, which Braxton was the one that created garage beer that everybody talks about now. They were the ones that sold the rights to that the Kelsey brothers bought into. Really? But they were the ones that created that in Covington, Kentucky. And then Mad Tree was another one there in Cincinnati, which has grown really huge. And Mad Tree does a lot of good stuff. And then Urban Artifact is there as well. I mean, we were kind of spoiled in Cincinnati in a lot of the stuff that we had there. But I think Rheingeist was probably the first one I kind of went to. I can't remember the name of the other one in the 90s, but it was a nice one. It was a pretty cool layout. And it's just 10 years later, they'd have been set. They'd have been rolling, but the timing just wasn't there yet, and they ended up having to sell.
Gotcha. Yeah, Rheingeist is fantastic. When was the last time you were there?
Rheingeist, I haven't. Well, we moved to Maryland 3 years ago. So Rheingeist, probably the last time I was there, probably around 2018 or so, 2018, 2019.
Gotcha. They didn't have the roof deck yet.
They had just put the roof deck in last time I was there. Yeah, and the roof deck was really nice there. And Braxton has a roof deck up well too. Yeah. And then Sam Adams has a kick-ass brewery there too. Because Jim Cook is from Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. So, and the thing about the Cincinnati thing is they do a lot of the shipping also around the country for a lot of the beers for Sam Adams too.
Yeah. Most of the beers, most except for some of the small batch stuff, most of the beers that ship around the country come out of Pennsylvania too. They don't come out of Boston.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that space, the Sam Adams space in Cincy is pretty good too.
Yeah,
and you can't go to Cincy without getting some chili. But we'll talk more about that later.
Funny, I was just in Cincy last week, so yeah, we can talk about that later because I never thought I'd have a craving to get some when I went back, but it happened. So yeah.
You get a 4-way?
No, I actually did the cone. I just did the cone. I had to get on the plane, so I wanted to make sure not to go overboard. So.
I would only go 3. Right?
Yeah, that's all I did. I did the 3 conies. Yeah, my mother, she still won't eat it. She used to come out there and she's like, "Is that crappy chili place still open?" When she would visit, like, it's like a staple for the people. You can't call it crappy, in the middle of the store or something. Like, you can't just call it crappy.
That's great. I gotta love it. All right. Let's talk about.
John, I opened my second beer.
You open your second beer already.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah,
Well,
your video's delayed.
No.
Hey, and now we are Kung Fu Theater.
I'll tell you.
By me.
You killed my master.
Which is good. He's the beer samurai, so it works out well.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, not as good. Yeah. So John knows damn well I was not really looking forward to my second beer. And it lived up to its promise.
It lived up to the promise you made for it. That's what it lived up to.
Which was not enjoying it that much.
It's not right. Exactly.
And I really, so yeah, I grabbed one.
Shiner, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, just like Shiner Bock, Shiner Oktoberfest is not really an Oktoberfest. Because Shiner Bock is not a Bock. Wow.
Well, it's not a Bock. It's a Shiner Bock.
It's a Shiner Bock, and this is a Shiner.
It's a Texas Bock.
Yeah, I'll be Bach. Yeah,
I'll be Bach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I be Mozart?
that means probably Chinese Beethoven. So go ahead.
What?
Yeah, you go. I was going to say the only response to that is. Wow, this is
not good.
This is special. This is special.
So are you getting any of the merchant qualities out of it? Like, or is it kind of like it's like Texas? They'll never know the difference.
But the thing is, there's great beer that comes out of Texas. It's just
there's some really good beer in Texas. There really is.
There's some of the old school stuff, and
some not good either too. But
and let's
that's everywhere though. I mean,
if you're having Texas barbecue, you got to wash it down with a Lone Star. That's just a given. Right? If you're in Texas, you have to have a Lone Star. Like when you're in Pittsburgh, you have to have an icy. When you're in Baltimore, you got to have a natty. You know, these are the things you got to do. But when I go to Texas, I probably will not be having a Spotzel. And it drives me crazy that they're Spotzel because I love Spätzle. Spätzle is one of my favorite German foods.
Well, it's
and I'm going to say Spätzle, so I'm glad they know Spotzel.
So I mean, how was it not good? You know, Spätzle.
Yeah. It's Spotzel. Or Spotzel. I don't know. my memory on this is Spotzel.
How about it's Spotzel? Yeah,
Spotzel? It's Spoetzel.
It's definitely special.
Just call it Shiner and call it a day.
No, it's
call it Shiner and call it a day.
It's got that sounds like a good slogan.
Is it even like any roastiness or anything with it?
It's got the malts. It's got some caramel to it.
I had the malts the day. They were.
I've had the malts all day long. It's been awful. I need to rehydrate. More about rehydrating.
More about rehydrating afterwards.
But there is as usual with all Shiner products, there is that one keynote of all their products, diacetyl.
It's meant to be in there, so you know.
Well,
that's probably their yeast then. Yeah.
This
any solvent, any green apple.
Actually, no.
So at least there's that.
At least I got that going for me, which is nice.
Well,
we're just going to be doing Bill Murray all day long. We've already done Ghostbusters. That's Caddyshack.
Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Boy comes out of nowhere about to drink a Shiner Oktoberfest.
It's in the glass.
It's in the glass. So anyway.
Okay, so no.
That's like we got to work on that. That's actually not bad.
We'll have that whole routine. The thing is, it would be more impressive if we can write out a script for that whole thing between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, considering that whole scene was ad-libbed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they decided our two biggest stars don't have a scene together, so they devised a way to put them together. At the time, they hated each other.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to outdo each other. So that's what made that scene so special, was their hatred for one another.
That's pretty great. Pretty great.
Gunga Gunga.
Gunga. Gunga. Gunga. Gunga. Gunga. Gunga. Gunga. Gunga.
The best part is you can say it wrong 10 times and you're still doing the scene right.
You're still doing the scene right. I actually have a T-shirt. It says "The Llama Gunga Gunga." Yeah. So anyway, and of course that and my Bushwood Country Club T-shirt too. I guess.
Well, we're supposed to be talking about Rod J here. We just
beer, yes, we do. Well, hey, you know what? It's such a good show that we're going to start talking about Rod J now.
Rod J is such a friggin' star. He's got an Academy Award there to his left.
Yes.
And he's got a special one because his rotates.
Sit on it and rotate. That's what I said. No,
it's either that or his Oscar got a little fat and put it on the rotation.
Yeah, right. No, it's funny.
Was it rotating itself, or did you have it on a turntable? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it is actually on a turntable. So it's a little thing I got off of Amazon there. So usually when I do my videos, I'll put a beer on there so the beer can kind of spin there. If people want to check out the design around the can or the bottle or whatever it may be.
Oh, that's cool. Because right, so you got that one turntable and a microphone, which means you're short one turntable.
I mean, if my name was Beck, Thanks
for getting the reference.
Yeah. But I do have another turntable behind me back there anyway. So I do have two turntables and a microphone. But this was something I was given earlier this year. We had a beer tuber get together with a bunch of the other YouTubers up in Niagara Falls, Canada. And one of the guys, Shane's Craft Beer Review, if you haven't seen Shane's Craft Beer Review, great channel, check out. Yeah. He put together a thing last year called the Chuggy Awards, where different people, not chubby, chuggy, where people.
I could have won the first one.
You can take that a couple of different ways, but
that's very easy to slip up on that one for sure. Yeah.
That's a chunky award, too.
Yeah. So basically, he got awarded from different other YouTubers for different beer videos they did, best intros, best this, best that, and all kind of stuff. So I wasn't expecting to get anything. I didn't really do stuff. I'm always kind of just keeping busy, kind of doing some stuff, so I don't always get to be involved in stuff. But they actually gave me one for fan favorite. That was voted on as a fan favorite for Rod J Beer Ventures channel. So
how many times did Vanessa vote?
Well, it was only the beer tubers that voted on it, though. But Vanessa, I would hope I get Vanessa's vote if she did vote, though. But yeah,
I'm sure you did.
But so they all did that, and there was like a few of the winners for other stuff. So it was like 6 or 7, and every year it grows to more and more people that are doing stuff. So it was a nice little honor to be able to receive something that. So since we're coming off the Emmys, I figured why not have the award out? You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's great. John's pulling his second beer out.
I'm pulling my second beer.
I'm gonna get a second beer here too. So let me grab that.
Go for it.
I'll probably the second might be the first as well because these are going down really easy right now. I think only like 5.5 ABV. So nice dunkel.
Oh.
Yeah, my first one was only 4.8%. This one's going up a little bit. So
a little bit.
I feel bad. We've got 17 comments from Vanessa.
Yeah, and Vanessa, sorry that we're not reading all.
Sorry that we're not reading all of your comments, Vanessa. There's 17 unread ones.
But we want to talk.
Hold on. Actually, they're not all Vanessa. We got one. I'll just throw them up. Brian Boak commented, "My second beer is Double Tap Oktoberfest. Great to see you guys at Ramstein the other day."
Yes.
Here's Brian. And Doug Smith commented, Spetzel, whatever you want to call it, is distilling now as well.
Well,
I paused for dramatic effect and for Dave to say something about that.
What I was going to play off of is Key from Key, or is it Peel? I can't remember. Key. The one who does all the
Keegan Michael Key. Yeah.
The tall one. The tall one. Yes, Key. The substitute teacher. Yeah.
Mr. Garvey.
Yeah.
So let's see. What can we do with this? With the name of this brewery, Sapoetzel. Spo
eat ZL. Is Spo eat ZL here?
No, you always have to assume the way he does it. You always have to assume there's an apostrophe after the first letter.
No, it could be S-Poetzil.
I like that. S-Poetzil. It's S-Poetzil. It's S-Poetzil here.
There we go.
Oh, here's my Oktoberfest bottle opener. Whoops, upside down. Upside down. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
At first, I thought it was a butt. It works either way.
In some positions.
I hope this doesn't get canceled. I had a boss once who used to talk about putting his wife on her head and licking her like a lollipop. It's like, you really think it's appropriate for the workplace there, Mike?
Conversation go.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would know what to do with that, but I wouldn't even know what to do with that.
Heck, that's nothing. You should check out our Thursday night lives I do on the channel. It gets a lot worse than that.
I'm gonna have to tune in.
Yeah,
I may have to join in too if you want me to.
There we go. Let's do it. Because we tend to, we don't always get back on the show, but sometimes we do.
What you would call it? Last couple ones, she said, Rod J is awesome. She voted for him. The Chuggy Awards, yes. Yeah. She's a fan. She's a top fan of Rod J on Instagram and such. And she said, "LOL, we're slacking on the comments."
Yeah,
we are slacking.
Yeah. So my second beer is an Erdinger Dunkel.
That's a nice beer.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice one.
Love it.
All the way from
your second wins against this.
The Me of Ger.
From where?
The Me of German. Germany. The Knee of German. Yeah. Never mind. I was trying to do like a key and peel thing.
You're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Trying too hard.
The G of Germany.
The G of Germany. Is Germany here? Germany.
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 No, it's German. Why?
German. There you go. German. Why?
Okay.
Anyway, all right. Tell us about Rod J Beer Adventures. Tell us about, you just as much as you want to go in depth. Tell us about what you did, like what you do now, and then we'll go back to how you started and all that afterwards. So.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Well, I started out as a little boy back in
I was born in a log hospital.
I was me and my granddaddy. I'm like, "What are you drinking, granddaddy?" He said, "I'm drinking a beer." I was like, "I gotta get me one of those."
Get me one of those.
I really thought and I guess it wouldn't work. I thought you were going to go with the jerk and go, "I was born a poor black child." Love that movie.
Yeah. Classic. That's classic there.
All I need is my dog shit.
Yeah, right. So, Mom, I can dance.
And this chair,
this
lamp,
and this trumpet, this ashtray.
Oh, what a fun movie!
I think I'm going to be coming to some money soon. My friend Patty promised me a blowjob.
I was more of Forrest Gump. I'm not a smart man. But anyway.
Life is like a bag of apple cinnamon yogurt covered pretzels.
Right.
You never know what you're going to get.
No, you know what you're going to get.
Oh, yeah, I know you're going to get.
Yeah. So back in 2015, kind of started messing around with everything like that. Started the YouTube channel and started with the blog that I have that I kind of still go to. I still post stuff on there and everything like that, and kind of one thing for another. So now at this point,
you still blog?
Yeah, so I have a blog. So the blog I started, I've written some stuff. I share YouTube.
Right? It's on Blogger.
It is on a Blogger. But then bought the domain for RodJBeerVentures.com because maybe one day I'll make it big. I don't know. We'll see. Food Network. I'm here. Yeah. So basically, I've just developed a passion with beer. I've always kind of enjoyed it when I've had it from time to time. And back then, my wife was like, "You should start like a YouTube thing," which I was never a huge thing of never thought about thinking of YouTube, because she's like, "Yeah, you go in there, you talk about beer, and people will watch your channel." Like if I don't got a beer, why would I want to watch somebody else have a beer? That was my thing. And then she's like, "No, people like to learn." So I ended up messing around with it. So then I launched the YouTube channel. And I did the blog. My background, my degrees like in journalism and advertising, so I know marketing and all kind of stuff. Even though I've been mostly in sales, I kind of got a chance to put some of those old schools that I got the degree on the wall from, kind of put some stuff to work and started having fun from it. And then ended up getting fortunate on some things, doing Facebook and then doing X and then Instagram. And then one thing kind of like the whole snowball effect starts to pick up. And, I'm not saying like I'm not huge or anything like that, but I've been able to fall into the right circles by being able to kind of do stuff out there. One of my friends from college, he had a friend from college. Then we all went to WVU different times. His friend ended up coming up with this beer gadget, and he said, "You should get that to Rod, my buddy Rod. Let him check it out." So he got it to me to check it out. I ended up doing it, checking it out, and the guy ended up going to Shark Tank, getting a deal from Mark Cuban. And so when people went to pull up that information on the internet, my video was popping up as the first video. A lot of people were saying about it and stuff. So that definitely gave a nice little boost in the beginning, and then kind of from there, just stuck with it.
What was the gadget?
Beer Blizzard. You put a little coaster in your freezer, and when you take it out, you put it in the bottom of a can, and then it keeps your beer cold, like ice cold, for like 20 minutes or something like that. Everything. So it's great for the macro drinkers. You put the can, you put it in the can, you put it in the koozie, and it keeps it iced on the bottom. So
absolutely good for the macro drinkers, because we all know you got to keep that beer nice and nice.
You got to keep it nice and cold, right? And
you got to drink it in 45 seconds. One of the
other. Right. Great for chugging, not for keeping around. So, but yeah, so that kind of helped there. But I mean, it was kind of just going out there and just telling the stories of beer, and ended up meeting a lot of the different breweries along the way and meeting other people in the industry. I did a lot of volunteering, a lot of different beer festivals. The next thing I know, I'm having conversations with a lot of different breweries, and I'm getting invited out to like Lagunitas. When I met guys from there, they're like, "Hey, when you're in Chicago, let us know." And they caught up with them, did a little tour out there, hanging out with other guys from Sierra Nevada and stuff like that. And then like more recently, just having fun with it and just going with it and just making the connections, and it ended up working out well. Fun. It's fun. It's fun. And it's the whole thing of just bringing like the education. My whole thing with the channel and everything I do is my goal is to basically teach people about beer in a fun and educational way and make it entertaining. Right. And just the whole thing is like, don't be a dick. Like, you don't have to basically make fun of, if somebody wants to have their macro beer, that's fine. All beer has its place, right? So, I used to softball pitch. We drank a lot of Bud Ices and shit like that, Milwaukee Ices, whatever it may be, just cheap beer while we're having fun, which, let me just say, if you're a softball pitcher, not always the best idea. I mean, I got through it.
How many people have you beaten?
Yeah. Well, the one thing I did find out, I tell you, one beer I did was the Rheingeist Truth, because Rheingeist, I found out you don't want to do that more than 2 innings if you're a pitcher. So I cut that. The other ones I was good to go. So, but yeah, it's been fun, and it's been like making great, friendships throughout, like Vanessa here and other people that we've actually met. And I haven't met Vanessa in real life, and I met other people in real life, and it's just a camaraderie, and it's a great community to be a part of. And like the whole beer community for just about everything I've done has been so welcoming and inviting me out for stuff and just kind of telling their stories, just telling the stories and sharing, because beer's been here for a long time for a reason. You go 5,000 BC, right? Like, there's something good about that quality thing. It's only behind water and tea. Water, we got to have water, but beer is 90% water. So, I mean, technically we should be able to survive enough if we just drank just beer. But I don't think employers would like that for their employees. But I don't know why tea is still second, but it happened. It must be the UK influence or something.
They do think mead may have come before beer, but we're not sure.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right.
But you can certainly drink more beer at one particular point in time than you can drink the amount of mead. So,
well, that's true too.
That's true. Yeah. And of course, beer back then was different on how it was done too, right? Beers we know it today wasn't like it was 5,000 BC.
Yeah, you need the bread first.
Yeah, going through the Groot stage and all kind of stuff. But
that's the other thing too. Like, with beer, and I always say this too, is like if you drink, and I'm not saying you get hammered, right? You drink 4 or 5 beers, but I mean they could all be like these, right? This is what is this? 5.4%, 5.8%. I'm drinking this alcohol. Mm-hmm. This is fantastic. It's nice and bready, biscuity, crackery, malt, dark malt. It's really, really good. But you drink 4 or 5 of these, you're fine, but you're not hungry because you've gotten the water in you from this, and you've gotten the food that's in
I don't know about you. After 4 or 5 beers, I need a nosh.
No. I'm not saying.
A lot of this is beer, but it's also the nosh from.
I'm not saying that you won't eat or you can't eat. I'm saying you don't really need to eat.
You don't need to, but
fill you up.
But you want to. You
think about it.
Who else has been at White Castle at 3 a.m. after about 12 beers?
I'm putting both you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your food choices become worse and worse.
Worse and worse.
Yeah. There's a reason Taco Bell's open late.
Yeah. There's that whole thing about beer goggling. That applies to food as well.
I can't say I ate it myself, but I have at 3 a.m. split a Crave case.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not.
What do you mean split?
Split. Yeah. Well, I wasn't eating 30 by myself. I think I ate 16, and the other guy ate 14. I think.
Yeah.
Weak.
At 3 a.m. I'm glad I didn't eat more than 16.
Your options 3 a.m. White Castle or wherever you're at. Maybe you might be.
No, you got to go to diner.
Waffle House. You might be Waffle. Well, Jersey, you got diners, but when you're outside Jersey, Waffle House becomes an option.
Waffle House. Here's what I love about Waffle House is that FEMA puts their danger levels based on the Waffle Houses, because the Waffle Houses, they have their own generators. They will stay open for the emergency response teams in any emergency. If a Waffle House has to close, get the fuck out, because everyone's fucked if the Waffle House closes.
Yeah.
The Waffle House is closed and get out of there.
Everyone's dying if you don't leave. Yeah.
Speaking of food, I did want to put this one comment from a few minutes ago from Vanessa up. She said she did a smoked brisket on Monday.
She smoked a brisket.
On Monday.
Of course you did, Vanessa.
I have one question to ask you. I've got one question to ask you. How the hell do you get those things lit? Because I put them in my mouth, get the lighter, and I just can't light a bit brisket, so I can't smoke one. I just don't know how to light them.
You got to have a big mouth to get the brisket in, though, too. You know. So.
I got a big mouth.
And then she also did say, you're talking about Waffle House, she put up Denny's, she said.
Yeah, Denny's is old school. Yeah.
Well, Denny's motto should have been, just face it, your drunk ass is going to wind up here at 2 a.m. anyway.
Yeah.
I have more of a problem with Denny's than I do a White Castle, and we'll leave that alone right there. You can probably figure it out from there.
Oh, that night.
Look, hey, toilet paper plays a very important role in my life.
And for both the White Castle and Denny's.
Think about it. Toilet paper plays a very important role in my life.
You just cracked me up.
There you go. By the way, on that note, I lost 20% of my couch.
20%. You lost
20%.
Yeah. Ouch. That wasn't mine. I heard it earlier today. So
something you gotta leave alone. Something you gotta leave in the street. Don't pick it up. don't bring it home. Just leave it out there.
Okay.
Vanessa just said, "LOL, come on up. I will train you in the art of smoking. I did a lot of smoking in the military. Explosives was a huge part of my first job." There you go.
So Vanessa did a lot of making over there go away.
Yeah, she's Vanessa is a teenager, learned how to roll cigars when she was like 14.
Yeah, Vanessa, I will be up when Dave. Rod, meet me. We're going. Let's go.
Let's go.
Pick John up.
Like I
John
said,
on your way up. Pick me up. We'll go. We'll have some brisket. We'll have some
cigars, brisket, and beer. I'm good.
And
that's a weekend right there. I'm good.
And we can blow something up.
Yeah. That's how things go bad. Everybody's going to Vanessa's house. That's
only if I go to Denny's.
Yeah.
You heard about that one? What was that? That one guy where they had to call the cops because someone heard him say he was going to blow up the bathroom.
Oh, I did hear about that, but he was talking about
Home Depot.
Yeah, Home Depot.
They called a bomb scare because some guy said, "I'm going to go blow up the bathroom."
Because he's just been to Taco Bell.
When slang doesn't work right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
In all of this, I did open my third beer because I had to wash out that second beer.
Did you drink the whole second beer? Did you leave the beer behind?
I actually did because there's no sink here to.
Like options. I need that glass. I need that glass.
There's not an option to just leave it. You had to finish it, right?
No. Because I do have another glass to drink out of, but so I went with a classic.
Oh, Weistenfahner. Weihenstephaner. It's the second syllable that'll get you.
The second one. And the thing is, the key is to gloss over it. It's Weihenstephaner.
Yeah.
Weihenstephaner. And this is their Pilsner. And I'm drinking it in appropriate glassware. or as I should say, crockery.
There you go.
From Weinstefan.
So it is the Bergische Staatsbrauerei Weinstefan.
Yeah.
Is how that is. And
thank you for saying that 5 times.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not going to, but I did get this. I got this actually at the brewery.
Oh, nice.
That's Dave's way of letting you know he was at Weinstefaner.
You have to be at the brewery to get that. But this is
this past April, as a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, and this is when we went to Germany. This is the one thing that I wanted for my souvenir. This
nice.
And so I managed to grab that. So this is, but drinking that out of this. Oh, and if you ever get that, so Weinstefan in 16 years will be 1,000 years old. 1,000. Wrap your head around that shit.
Yeah.
Weinstefan is older than England.
Oh, and put this way, 1,000 years, beer's been around. It's been around 5,000 years. So Weinstefan has been around 20%. Back to John's 20% of the time beer's been on the planet.
Yeah. Well, beer's been longer than 5,000. It was 5,000 BC.
Oh, BC.
So it's longer. So
which is good because I didn't break our rule out.
Over 7,000 years.
I failed at mathing on the show.
You failed at mathing on the show.
The math didn't math. Now, Vanessa's a math whiz. I'm surprised she didn't catch you on that. But she's a math whiz, too.
Might have. It's coming soon.
The thing is, so Vanessa's not allowed to comment anymore because we are not. She's a math. She's got a master's in math. I still have no idea what you do with that. But because I have no idea what I did.
She masters math.
I have no idea what I do
with it.
I don't do anything with my degree. I'm a history major. That's how you do with a history major. But we're not allowed to math on the show.
We do not math on the show.
So I'm glad I failed at that because I would have broken one of our rules.
There you go.
And the reason we don't math on the show is because
we suck at it.
Well, speak for yourself, but
there's times where your math has been.
Oh no, well, it's usually after my 4th beer, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, it's usually sus AF, right? Yeah,
exactly. Vanessa did say, as far as cigars go, Connecticut Shade Tobacco Fields was her first job that paid into Social Security taxes, and it was at age 14. She said,
"Yeah, age 14."
Wow. 14. And then she said, and then just to hinge on what we were saying before, she said, never say you have explosive diarrhea in certain settings.
Yeah.
Oh,
and she likes your Stein there, Dave.
Oh, what do you see? The other one. I've got another one lined up when I get my 4th beer.
And I don't know what to do with this, but she says, hey, also my bullwhip hangs at the entryway.
I don't know. Is this a promise or a threat?
So Vanessa's. Let me tell you, Vanessa's 6'3". She wears stilettos, and she goes to like 6'9", and she's proud of her bullwhip. So,
all right.
do with that what you may.
Do with that what you may.
Yeah, John and I both have partners that may have possibly go back and watch the show, so we're going to both leave that alone.
So anyway, Rod, Beer Ventures.
There's a couple of things. There are a few things we wanted to talk to you about, and I was talking about like not bringing up the fact of where I saw this, but we're gonna have to bring it up anyway because otherwise,
I got to get more of those.
Why would I ask you about these if I didn't bring this up? Because on your Facebook page, there's a few things that you brought up that we wanted to talk to you about. But one of the most important things that have happened recently was the announcement by Marty Nakel of the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yes.
We shared it. You shared it. This is one of those things like, how the hell did we not think of this before that?
Well, you know what's funny about that?
Not that I'm jealous of it, but it's fantastic. Like, why didn't we or anyone think of this before?
Well, it's funny because that just got announced, right? So, in all honesty, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I told you we had the beer tuber thing in Niagara Falls.
Right.
So we got like a group collective where we do stuff in messaging, and we were just talking about in a group like, there should be some type of Hall of Fame type. And then this article comes out, and it's like, well, I guess we're bugged by the FBI because they got our idea now. So
the way we
timing was perfect. Yeah.
The way we look at it, no better person than Marty Nakel to be spearheading this. The greatest beer judges out there, beer writer, beer author. So it's great. So we did about 3 or 4 shows ago. We did this top 3 segment. We'll get to ours later.
2.
It was only 2 shows ago. Jesus, Where does the time go?
I know.
But our top 3 at the time was top 3 people you would like to see inducted into the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame. So, Rod, give us yours.
So it's funny, because we kind of talked about some stuff pre-show, and that's another thing. So one of the other guys, it's funny because I mentioned like the whole Mount Rushmore thing. So one of my other friends, Kyle, No Hype Beer Reviews. If you haven't checked him out, check him out as well. About a month or so ago, he did videos talking about the Mount Rushmore of things in craft beer.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there was an article dropped like by Vine about their Mount Rushmore. I'm like, I think they're spying on you because all of a sudden Mount Rushmore
you have
is
an
everywhere.
iPhone and wasn't near you when you were talking. That's the only explanation.
Yeah. And so in the Craft Beer Hall of Fame, there was a thing about they're putting in their first group and they were asking for suggestions. They were kind of, who'd you put in? And it was kind of like my thing was I had on there Fritz Maytag, because what he did with Anchor and stuff was very important to establishing things that later on became with craft beer, and him taking the big risk he took.
Sure.
Michael Jackson was another one in there because Michael Jackson brought a lot of inspiration and things. Now, for those of you watching, not Michael Jackson performer, Michael Jackson a writer. So make sure you know what Michael Jackson I'm talking about. Not the hee-hee, but the drinking Michael Jackson.
That's my line. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Not the hee-hee one.
Yeah. So he actually was very...
Can I challenge you on that a little bit? Because it's the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame.
That's what I was wondering. Was Michael Jackson American though, or
British? He's British.
Okay. Well, he survived up in so many things there. So so maybe we save him for the international wing, right? But you gotta have Charlie Papazian. Papazian. You gotta have him in. That's like a thing there.
I think he should be you know why I think he should be the first one in?
Mm-hmm.
Because without Charlie and without his book, right? His book about homebrewing.
Yes, that's the one I read, Joy of Homebrewing. Mm-hmm.
The Joy of Homebrewing. So many of the brewers that we have out there may not have gotten into it or managed to master their craft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everyone's read it. He brought so many people to homebrewing, taught them how to homebrew, and taught them how to relax while doing it. Relax.
Yeah.
Have a homebrew, right? That's the theme throughout. I think he should be the first one in.
Yeah, and then I think like for me, like the third person, and it could be a toss up because there's a couple people that could probably be there, but for me, I personally think like Ken Grossman for what he was doing out there with Sierra Nevada. Some people might say Jim Cook. There's different premier people that were kind of doing some stuff along those lines. But then I thought about it. I'm like, what do you do with Jimmy Carter? Because Jimmy Carter, if he didn't know. But Jimmy Carter, if he decided to build, that opened up all the brewing stuff. So even though he didn't really brew and like that, was like you don't have everything without Jimmy Carter. So how do you get him into it? Because at some point it has to be a mention or something like that.
That's a great point. We hadn't thought of that when we discussed it on the show a couple weeks ago. But Jimmy Carter had
if he doesn't do it, he will be open enough for people to start brewing at home. In 1976 when he passed when the law got passed. Yeah, you could do 100 gallons per You could do 100 gallons per adult. So if you were married, you could do 200 gallons. You could do 200. Nobody's going to check to see if you stop. But anyway, but he doesn't do that. You don't have
registering the beer,
right? You don't have the books being written.
You don't have 1 gallon.
Right. You don't have the books being written. You don't have the people experimenting. You don't have the benefits that we have now. So it's almost like you have to put Jimmy somewhere.
And you know what? I agree. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I absolutely agree with that. Because the first step to come out of Prohibition was to get rid of Prohibition in 1933. Mm-hmm. The second step was that bill. And it took 44 years to get to that second step.
Yeah.
And so that's very important. You've got a great point there. I hadn't thought of that. I support that. I wholeheartely support that.
Yeah.
Even if it's an honorable mention or something. But I think he deserves something in there. Yeah. But you brought up Ken Grossman, absolutely. And people will bring up Jim Cook on the East Coast. Ken's one of the ones that started the whole thing. Right now, let's face it. They didn't call it at the time, but Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, that's the first West Coast IPA.
Yeah, correct.
This is the first time anybody's experienced those flavors, those hops.
Cascade, I think, right? The Day Experiment, that was the one that launched Cascade, yeah.
And John and I will crow a little bit about our home state here, but the yeast that he uses, Chico yeast.
Chico yeast is definitely derivative and from Newark.
Okay.
And Ballantine.
It was Ballantine's yeast.
Ballantine yeast.
We propagated off of Ballantine's yeast. So there's a little bit of Jersey in every Sierra Nevada.
Oh, there you go. Once you get Jersey, it ain't coming out. Just saying.
And the thing is, I've tried to move out of the state twice. I thought I got out.
Just swing your thought. Hold back in.
Every time. And one time I did live in Maryland. I lived in Maryland for about a year, and I lived in Rhode Island. I lived in Rhode Island for the first year of COVID, actually, but always wound up back here somehow.
Yeah.
But no, Ken Grossman, prior to Jim Cook. Jim Cook, though, I think belongs in. I love Jim Cook.
Yeah.
What I love was that when we had that, if you remember the hop shortage, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gave up hops at cost to all the local breweries around him.
Yep.
That's a man who loves beer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not in it for the money. He's in it for the love of beer.
100%.
And he loves his baby Boston Ale so much that to make sure that the sales numbers for it are up, he makes sure it's included in every variety pack.
Yeah, he definitely does. Yeah. Every time you see it, like, can I get one without the Boston? Nope. Boston has to go in.
Have you had the new version of it?
I know we're going down the road. Yes, I have had the new version of it.
What do you think?
I'm more particular to the old version. Now, the new version isn't terrible by any means in my book, but it's definitely a little different in my mind. I feel like I was like, why did you have to change it anyway? Like, the old version I thought was solid, decent. You knew what you were getting there. And the new one is more, if I could put into a phrase, is more appealing to a little bit more of a mass than what the other one was. And maybe that's why they went to it, because they kind of softened it a little bit to try to win over some of the macro people, maybe.
Yeah, I absolutely know why they did it, but I missed the old one. I miss the old one. And it's like the new Coke, right? Bring me back the old one, or give me both.
The new Coke wasn't good.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least they didn't do like Fat Tire. Who went the new Coke route and just like, screw it, we're not even going to keep it as an amber. We're going to go a golden ale.
Yeah,
and just piss everybody off. And it's like, this is not even like any remotely like a slight change. You totally changed.
And I was part and parcel of this in one brewery that I was associated with back in the day. But if you're gonna make a completely different beer, why use the same damn name from another beer that's been working well?
Just redo it. Yeah.
Just make a new beer.
Just make a new beer.
All you're doing is you want to profit off the sales of the other beer and that name that you've had already. And all you're going to do is piss off the people that were drinking.
And you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them as customers.
There's no gain. But Rod, remember the first question I asked you? Oh no, the second question we asked you, because it had nothing to do with being at somebody's house.
Pete Diddy's house. Yeah. Or Epstein. I've never been to Epstein Island either. That's the other question.
Did he have a house on Epstein Island? That's what I'm saying.
But he has not denied being at R. Kelly's house.
I don't want to say I was in the closet, because that's even bad
too. Outside the gate, just drove by.
Let's leave that. We'll leave that right there. No, but the first craft beer you had, John and Mine's first ever craft beer was Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Oh, okay.
So when it was changed, I was really quite upset, because this is the beer. This is the
first beer I ever had.
It's the taste that got me.
First craft beer I ever had. Certainly not the first beer I ever had.
No.
First craft beer I ever had.
John was drinking when he was 5. I've met his father. Here, drink that.
Yeah. The little Miller High Life. That's what I thought as a kid. Yeah. My grandparents had the Miller High Life, little 7-ounce thing. That's why I started taking my first sips. Yeah.
It's funny that you bring a Miller High Life, because isn't that one of Jack's favorites?
No.
Oh, I thought that's what he would get when we go to Ruts.
Well, it is, because that's
okay.
I mean, there's like 2 choices there, right? But
there's 3.
Yeah, but
2 of them are Miller.
Yeah, his favorite macro and has been probably since the late 70s has been Heineken. He's
okay.
Which was my go-to freshman year in college.
And he dabbled in Beck's for a while, which I prefer Beck's over Heineken by all means, obviously.
But it was Sam Adams Boston Lager that got me off of Heineken as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. So when they introduced the new one, it's like I was curious, and I knew it's not going to be the Sam Adams that got me onto craft beer. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I hate the concept of the change because of what it means to my history in the craft beer world.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But,
yeah, I had done a review when I did that one with the new Sam Adams, and I found a lot of the people that have had it as well kind of felt the same way. Like there was no need to make the change, and they weren't really asked. So I think maybe one person might have said they actually may have liked it a little bit better, but you know, we kicked him out of the club. So anyway,
I will say one thing: it is more drinkable to one sense because they've backed off on there's a flavor to it that. I mean, you have to know it to know what I'm talking about. There's a flavor to it that's a little more powerful than most of your lagers.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going for, to make it a little bit more drinkable, because then they can win over more maybe some of the macro people coming over and actually. And
mind you, the best Boston lager that I've ever had has been at the Jamaica Plain Brewery up in Boston. So you get in Jersey, you get Boston lager down here. It's being brewed in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Right,
so
Vanessa,
what do you think of this style?
Oh, that's a nice one too. I got one like that too.
Speaking of that, this is my third beer. I poured it already. I went on the Weinstefano route too. It's Corbinian. It's their
Oh, okay.
That and Vitus are my two favorites.
Vitus, I've had Vitus. That's pretty good. Vitus. Yeah.
So what I have in this
cheers, fantastic.
Is another German cheers.
Yeah.
Zoomfall.
Yeah.
Zoomfall. Oh, the Austrians will make fun of me if I say it wrong. I got a couple Austrian friends I met in Montreal. They taught me Zoomfall while we were drinking in Munich. But so this one is another German style. This is brewed in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
By a brewery. You can, if you look at John's hat, that is the brewery. This is Freising Tide.
Okay.
This beer is so Freising. Weinstefan is in Freising, so this is
Freising, Germany.
Freising, Germany. Mm-hmm. I don't think that needed to be clarified, but okay.
Well,
but this.
Well, it did have to be clarified because apparently Google thinks when you type in Freising, it says something else.
What was it? Glowing.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Google. It was my Google Pixel. I hate the autocorrect of my Google Pixel. But so when I went, John knew I was going to Weinstefan. He wanted me to take this with me. I said, okay, I'll give him one of your beers. He goes, no, please make sure the can is empty.
Yeah, I don't want them drinking. They don't need to drink. Yeah, they don't need to drink our hef at Weinstefan. I just want them to see the can.
So he goes, bring the can so that they know about it and have an employee there take a picture of an employee with this can. I didn't manage to do that. The employee was the English-speaking tour guide of the brewery. And he is right there.
Holding the can.
Cool.
Yeah, there's the can right there. This is at the brewery. And he's actually from college, State College, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, Penn State.
Yeah, from Penn State. So he's there. There's a whole college there about brewing. As a matter of fact, their brew pub is actually one of the lecture halls.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And they actually use it in a lecture hall every now and then. But the joke of it is, if you're going to lecture hall, whatever number it is, you're just saying you're going to go get a beer.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Brian Boak commented before. He said Molson Golden since 1977. He said,
"Yeah,
Molson Golden."
That's what I drank. That was my jam for the longest time.
I poured back a few.
Well, your first freaking brewery was Bolson.
My first brewery was
Tour.
Yeah. Tour. My first brewery tour was
with your father before you could even drink, right?
True story.
Oh no, you were in Canada.
In Canada, so I technically couldn't.
Canadians don't care,
but I did.
Yeah. What was it, like 18 for Canada back then?
It was 18 for Canada. I was 17. So
Rod, you posted something else on your Facebook page. It's the first I heard of it, and I did lament it. You put up that Weathered Souls had closed.
Yeah, so they're actually in the process of closing now. So
now, did they close because Marcus left, or did they close
I think it's a direct. I think it's a direct result.
Right,
of
Marcus didn't leave, and then they decided to close. They were going forward, and then they decided to close.
Yeah. I think. I mean, obviously, Marcus has a huge effect on that brewery. I mean, he was Weather Souls, right?
He was the brewery, yeah.
He's Marcus is a force.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it too. Is the contraction we're seeing with some of the breweries around here. Like occasionally people will come up, we'll do the shows and we'll do stuff, and people will ask, do you think the bubble will pop? I don't think there's a way a bubble to pop. I just think it's regular growth of a business cycle. And when you get to 9,500 plus breweries, things have to start contracting. You start having opportunities. You have people that have been doing it for a while that might want to get out. People are getting priced out with AB and Bev or Molson Coors on some of their stuff. Tilray,
rents,
even to have that space. And now you have more community brewing more than ever, right? So I mentioned being in Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, within like that 20-mile radius of the 275. You could probably go either direction, in or outside of that, another 10 miles. We probably had like 70 plus breweries around that area. So you had so many different breweries you could actually stumble in. I mean, literally stumble into them, and that it becomes a thing. It wasn't like it was
stumble out of.
Yeah. So you think about the early 2000s, right? Like going to a craft brewery, like a destination type thing for a lot of people. Now it's like I'm right in my own neighborhood. I got a brewery over here down the street, or you've got the local guy that might be doing home brews that are better than some of the other breweries. Like, oh, we're going to go over to Ted's house, and Ted's got some good beers he wants us to try, right? So it's just kind of changed. So I think that's just the whole business cycle that's taking place. And unfortunately, you're seeing it with breweries, and Weather Souls no different than like when I saw when Tallgrass went down in Kansas. Tallgrass was one of those breweries that decent beer. They overextended in my book. They just tried to go too far. It was too late for them.
Too far, too big, too fast.
Yeah, too fast. Yeah. And even Anchor, if you're doing 75% of your business in California, don't try to go all over the world. I mean, California is big enough where you're the fifth biggest economy.
But that was the people who bought them. They bought them, expected something out of them that they could never have delivered on.
Yeah, it was a matter of time. You're on the clock at that. I mean, you should have just stayed kind of focused like you were. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. I liked getting all the Anchor beers I was able to get, but there's a penalty for that nowadays,
Well, they've been bought by a yogurt consortium.
Chobani guy.
He's changing the culture.
He's changing the culture. He is changing the culture.
Four shows in a row he's used that way.
I changed it up.
But here's the thing about Weather Souls, because John and I have a friend in Texas. She's head of the Pink Food Society there.
Okay.
Debbie Churda. And so I'm going to be going to Austin, San Antonio in April. And so I've reached out to her, and I told her that Weather Souls was on my hit list. She said to me straight up, this before they knew they were closing, don't bother. Ever since Marcus has left, it's gone downhill.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So even the product
started to drop off. People, yeah.
Now, for those watching who don't know who Weather Souls are, a couple of years ago, they started the Black is Beautiful movement in the craft beer world.
Mm-hmm.
This was to raise money for, everybody who, especially the Black Americans who had been wrongfully jailed for the protests that were happening during the time.
Yeah, well, maybe not just that. A lot of social injustice. Well, not even just them, but it's just like a lot of social injustice. Yeah.
And what was great about it is it played off of the what was the movement before that? All Together, right?
Mm-hmm.
The All Together movement was we're all in this together with the COVID movement, where there was a recipe that was put out, and that recipe was free for everybody. But they were supposed to stick to that recipe. What I love that what Marcus did is he put the recipe out for Black is Beautiful for all the breweries, open source. But he also said, do your take on it.
Yeah,
and so when you tasted the All Together beer, a lot of them were very similar. You could tell where some of the ones were a little lacking in their process and kind of screwed it up. But the Black is Beautiful one, there's so many variations on it.
Yeah.
And I loved going out. I got so many. It's in a box in storage. I got to find it. I have the glass. I have the glass. I reached out to Weather Souls, I'm like, I want to buy the glass, but it's not available on the website. Marcus replies back, "You want one? Hold on. Go on now." I went on, bought one. He's like, "Okay, you got it? Cool." And he shut it back down again. He's like, he goes, "Right now, the demand is massive. I can't really control it." So I was one of those lucky few who did manage to get the glass. And I loved that movement. I loved what he was doing. I loved where the money was going. But I also loved that this open source recipe was truly open source.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Where everyone can do their take on it. So this is what Weather Souls was. This is why Weather Souls was important to the craft beer community, actually just to community, period. Right. So hearing they've gone under, so we apply it to Weathered Souls, but it was Marcus, right? And Marcus has moved on. Where did Marcus go?
I haven't seen. I don't know, Johnny, if you know.
He's getting into food.
That's right. He's out of beer, and that's a shame.
Yeah,
but not for him. For us, do your thing, and that's great. We wish him all the luck. And
I don't think that he's gone completely forever from beer.
Yeah,
temporarily. He's cleaning his palate, so to speak.
We've all got various passions, right? So he's chasing another one of his passions right now, I'm sure. And
we've got a friend who did the same thing, who had probably the best meadery in the country, who now has 2 restaurants and gave up mead.
Yeah.
Hopefully he will come back to it at some point, because I know that John's got some of his equipment. And he also has one of his brewers.
Yeah.
There you go.
So hopefully he'll come back to it. But
he was he's my partner in the brewery, and he was also making mead with
Melavino
at the same time. So he was
double
dipping, as they say.
But I wanted to bring up what was on your post, because it's, I was saddened to hear Weather Souls.
Oh, yeah. I think definitely a lot of people were saddened by that to see it out there, I'm sure. And, it made a mark in the craft beer world, what he did there.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of reasons, and we've talked about a number of them on the show. There's a lot of reasons breweries close. The biggest one right now, honestly, is the economy. It's just the economy. There's a lot of smaller breweries that are reliant upon foot traffic into their brewery that just aren't getting that foot traffic into the brewery because of the economy. So
it's not just the economy, but it's also generational, where the younger generation.
No. We'll get there. Hang on.
Well, I'm gonna grab a beer while you guys doing that real quick.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit? It's the economy. Also, I'm gonna vamp a minute because I want.
There's actually 2 of these in that.
2 of those in there. There you go.
I had to fill the stein.
There you go.
Best thing ever, putting a beer fridge in the office. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mine's right there.
Yeah. So I was like, "Are you coming out?" Sometime.
One's going in. One's going in right over there too. So.
It's the best thing, but it's the thing that gets you in the most trouble.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Good and bad at the same time. But so it's the economy, right? Number one. Number two. It's part and parcel of the economy too, and it's the rents. Real estate has real estate. I mean, it's no. We all know real estate's doubled in the last 5 years, doubled.
Yeah.
So that means rents, if they're not doubled yet, they're going to get there, and that's a big problem too. And some breweries are like, hey, this is a passion of mine, but it was a side project, and I can't afford this anymore. Goodbye. We're closing. We're done. And then, so if you own your building, you're good, right?
Yeah.
You should have a landlord raising your rent.
Yeah.
And it's like I was talking to somebody last week.
Or if your husband's your landlord.
Well, that too.
Yeah,
but
we know that's
yeah. But in any event, I was talking to somebody like, last week we were talking about the fact that they were saying something along the lines of, you have your lease, right? When your lease is up, the landlord comes to you and says, "We hear you have a lot of money. Yeah. We'd like it now." So
I was trying to think of, there was one of the Chicago breweries had to close because they ran into that scenario where it was just they kept jacking with the lease and stuff like that, and they couldn't come to an agreement and pretty much had to shut it down. And it was a pretty popular brewery out there. It's just that does come into play.
It sucks. It's horrible, right? Well, but those are the biggest ones. But then there's also 2 other things too. and this is where I was going to go. Well, 3 other things. The third one we're going to talk about and get into something else really quick for a minute. But the first two are one. Hold on. One.
I'm getting dizzy.
Well, let me say it. They're just done. They're just
Whiplash.
done.
Yeah.
Okay. They're just done. There's
They're
been a
just
lot
done.
of breweries that close. Hey, you know what? I had my fun. I'm good. We're closing.
Yeah.
Come in. We're having a whiz bang last month. Let's drink everything we brewed, and then we're closing, kind of thing.
Right.
That's but then the other one is they're not brewing good beer, right? And we
know so many breweries that don't brew good beer.
But that's kind of part and parcel to it. It's not obviously the distribution end of things. It's the tap room experience, right? Yeah. They have local customers that come in there
who don't know any better,
and that don't know any better, whatever, and they're making their money from it. And
I don't want to be little because loyalty is a huge thing.
Loyalty is a huge thing, and that's fine, right? But the last thing, the fifth thing, if you will, that we're talking about, and where I want to get into this thing is the Gen Zers, the younger sect, if you will, the 21 to 20 at this point, 25-year-olds, I guess, 21 to 25-year-olds.
25.
They're not drinking beer like even the millennials are. Forget about the Gen Xers.
Even the millennials are less too. So
the millennials are less, but not as bad as the Gen Zers. The Gen Zers are they're drinking. They're from my
if they're drinking.
From my observation, they're either not drinking at all.
Yep.
They're drinking seltzers or fruity vodka drinks, or they're experimenting with THC, and that's how they're getting their buzz.
Or 0%.
Or 0%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a cross mix. By the way, I just cracked open. I did crack open Oktoberfest beer, so Sierra Nevada.
So,
that's a beautiful beer.
Yeah, if you had this year's edition where they teamed up with Gutman, Gutman. This is. I haven't had their Oktoberfest beers probably in about 4 or 5 years, but they started doing the collabs each year with them. This is one of my favorite ones thus far. So this one just came out when they released them this year. But you want to get the Gutman collab. Yeah, it's really,
keep it going. Keep it going, Rod. We'll be back.
Right there. It's tasty. Yeah.
Fill the data.
Mom, meatloaf. Yeah. You have the meatloaf. You have the meatloaf. We're gonna have the meatloaf.
I never know what she's doing back there.
So I think, it's funny because I was just in Cincinnati last week because I was in a conference for work up there, and we work hard, we play hard, so we socialize at night, we drink. So part of our group that we have, some of them were like that millennial and Gen Z, and they were drinking, right? And so it depends. And some of them were drinking beer, and a lot of them were coming over to me because they knew I did the beer stuff, asking me different beers, and they were like, asking for recommendations. I get recommendations. They would like this, they would like that. They were going back reordering. So some of it might be just knowing where to even go to look at stuff, but it's more of I feel like there's more definitely that are not drinking as much, because now if you're in one of the 24, 25 states where you have marijuana available, some like to do stuff with that, or want the THC type feel, which gives you that different type of feel along those lines.
And don't make you fat.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you'd have to drink or smoke to do that, but I guess it would take a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? If you do enough THC, you get the munchies, you're going to get fat. So
yeah. It's like I saw doctor before. The doctor says there's really no such thing as a beer belly. It's just basically just the consequence of you drinking. There's no really diagnosis for a beer belly. It's just the consequences.
I can show you one.
Yeah. But
I get the camera right here.
Yeah. But it's a different time where they've definitely come in a generation.
I'd be closer to the camera if I could.
Yeah. When there's more stuff being fed to them about health conscious stuff than we had like when we were younger, right? Yeah. Also, it could be things they see with their parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, whatever it may be, where maybe they're like, I don't know if I want to go that route because we had to family get together last week and Uncle Robert was over there rolling in the grass like he was a grizzly bear or something, right? Like you just don't know, right? So these things kind of go to their heads when they see stuff. So they get with their friends and they do different things. But I also see some of the older generation. We always say like the younger ones, but I see people like me being a Gen Xer, me or some of the boomers, they're cutting back on drinking because of health reasons and stuff too. So they're actually So you could be seeing them get it from both sides, as far as not just the younger might be a more of a majority, but you definitely have a feel from older generations too that are cutting back, and they're out there like got the Apple Watches on, they're walking, they're doing their steps. I'm only going to drink on a Saturday when they used to drink 6 days a week, right? So things are changing.
But there's a little difference to that, because the younger generations, the millennials, especially the Gen Zers, they're not outside.
No, they're not going out.
They're online so much that they need to not have so much calories, to not get massive, because they don't move the way we did.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we were younger, your mother kicked you the hell the fuck out of the house, and you were not allowed to come back until dinner time.
Until the light was on.
Yeah, until the street lights came on. Because mom had her what was I'm losing it. What was the pill that they all took back then?
Oh, the Ludes, when they went to just crash
not
for a bit?
Ludes. No, it wasn't that. It was it'll come to me. But they were sick of our shit. They wanted us the hell out of the house, and there's all those things about the dangers of a playground when we were kids, but also that we were on our bikes. We were basically bicycle gangs out there. We made ramps. We did all this.
The women took when we were driving them crazy. Is that what you're talking about?
What?
What did you say? What pill they took?
Valium. That's what it.
Valium. That's what I'm saying. Valium. Yeah.
Moms were on Valium.
Well, that's kind of like a lewd, right? Like
it's lewd-ish.
They went to the Happy Land. Yeah.
They went to
Happy Land for afternoon. Well, how many? There was a lot of kids that grew up with their mom basically saying, "I don't care where you go, but you're not staying here." Right? Nope. So we all had that at one point in our lives back then.
And they're on the couch watching Oprah.
Right.
But
back then Oprah was a teenager, so she wasn't.
It was Donahue. It was Donahue back then.
Oprah, and everyone's mom had the same whatever disease Oprah was talking about at the time.
Right.
But the point is, we were very, very active, and then all of a sudden, we then got into the workforce, and then we became part of the cubicle farms, and then we couldn't consume the way that we used to, and then but we continued. Whereas nowadays they know they can't, so they're not bringing in as many calories, as many carbs. They're being health conscious early. We became health conscious after we stopped being active, which is when we joined the workforce and had to put on the tie. Thank God the tie has died. The tie has gone away. I'm in the corporate world, and our CEO refuses to wear a damn tie.
Yeah. I still know some companies that do, though. They hate it. The people I know that work there
everyone hates it.
I try very, very, very infrequently to wear a tie.
Yeah.
When I have to, I need to wear a tie. I know I have to wear a tie at least twice next year.
Two women. You got his daughters.
Both of my daughters are getting married, so 2 times I got to wear a tie.
As far as I'm concerned, there's only 2 things that occur that you've got to go to that require a tie: wedding, funeral. Both are the end of a life.
As you know it. Yeah. We know it.
But my whole point is, we didn't have to be health conscious because we were so damn active all the time. We could eat whatever we want, and we were fine. We were slim. And then the world changed. We changed. And these kids today, they're not as active as we were.
Hell no.
So they they can't eat and drink the way we did when we were young.
Yeah, no, we were not as health con. We did a lot of stuff we probably shouldn't have done back then.
I don't know how.
There's moments I've had with my friends, like, you know what? One of us should have been dead by now. Some of the shit that we did. At least, right? But the other point, though, when you're looking at what's happening right now, you can't say it's not the cost of beer.
No, it's not.
Because the economy, like, for most people now to go in and you get like a 4-pack of craft pint cans, depending where you're at and what location you're at, you're probably looking anywhere from $12 up to even $30 for that 4-pack.
Mm-hmm. You're talking Drecker. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're Drecker or other half will put you in the mid 20s.
Yeah.
The sours will put you up to close to 30.
Yeah.
Which is just the cost of stuff. And some people are like, do I want to even pay for that? Because at that point, if you're paying between 20 to 30, if they are going to drink, sometimes they're like, well, I just will go ahead and get a bottle of Beam or something like that or whatever, right? Dependent, rather. So that plays into the mindset. And then if you're too low, you're kind of like, well, okay, I can get this for $6. Well, I can go get a freaking 12-pack of Bud for this, right? So craft beer is in a pricing situation right now too, where
you got to be in that mid. You got
to call it right.
Or
Give it
too
too
high,
low or too high, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen people breaking it down. Well, this is like 50 cents an ounce, where this is 25 cents an ounce. And I get more ABV. If you want to get lit and you want to measure ABV, I guess that way. But, it's for us that have been drinking it and people like us that are craft beer heads. Mm-hmm. We're in it for the taste. We're in the flavor. We know it's going to cost a little bit more. It's like, pretty much us getting a steak at Ruth's Chris versus a steak at Ponderosa. There's a big difference. There's a big difference, right? So we've had days where we went to Ponderosa, but hey, if we can go to Ruth's Chris, we know it's going to be that much better, or Morton's, or whatever it's going to be.
Morton's.
Yeah.
But that's important. Oh, go ahead with Chuck's comment.
I was going to throw Chuck's comment up there. He said, "Happy episode 196. Great discussion on the changing beer consumer market. 100%.
Thank you,
Chuck. Weigh in. Let us know what you're." Rod, this is the owner of Jersey Girl Brewing up in.
Excellent! Great to meet you, Chuck. I need to connect with Chuck when I'm back in Jersey at some point.
He's also he's also a politician, so.
That's a good thing, by the way.
You know what? Being a politician in beer in Jersey, that's a tricky thing.
That's a tricky thing. You do right. That's good. Right. Exactly.
Remember what someone said. Politics is built up of two words. Poly, which means people, and ticks. Which are parasites.
Anyway,
I'm just making fun of you.
I know. Doug just commented too. It's become insane how expensive 4-packs of some styles have become. What's the most you are willing to pay? It depends on what the style is.
It depends.
I'm going to tell you right now. The
$25.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing. No. This is the thing. The ones that are well over 20 and approaching 30 are either heavily fruited and bullshit sours, or they're like ridiculously overhopped triple IPAs. And I'm not spending 20 something up to $30
or highly adjunct barrel aged dark
either. Or no, but
well, here's the thing.
For less than that, though. That's the thing.
Well, here's the thing. So the one with the fruits I get, because I used to be Cincinnati Urban Artifact stuff. The fruit costs have gone up, so I can understand why they might be a little bit price higher. I get
it, but I'm not buying them because I'm not drinking them. So
you're not drinking them. But we're like almost 2 months away from Black Friday, which means what? Goose Island comes out to Bourbon County Stouts. And I've had discussion with this before, and people were saying, well, how much do you pay for beer? Well, people will pay if you're getting a base Bourbon County Stout, you're paying anywhere between $10.99 to $15.99, depending on what state you're in.
$12 and $13, $14.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends what state you're in. Because in Kentucky, you get it for like $10.99 for the base version, right? So
$10.99 to $12.99 in Jersey.
Yeah, but then if you're going to the variants, which I like to get the variants, you're
they go
now
up to $40 and $50.
20, yeah, at least the 20s for the base stuff, right? But I got the whatever anniversary edition a couple years ago, and that was $48.
And how much?
It was triple bourbon.
How much money are you willing to give AB InBev?
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? But it's kind of, but which is always funny too, because people were like, I was getting a kick out. I get a kick out of some of the craft beer drinkers that will criticize AB InBev, but then there'll be the same people in line for Bourbon County Stout. You know what I mean? Like if you don't do Bourbon County, you don't do it, that's one thing. Like how you're saying it right there, that's one thing. But then there's like people all year long, blah 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 blah. But then they got Bananas Foster coming out this year. I got to get me some of that. Didn't you just say you were against AB InBev and what they're doing? But that don't count. They don't mess with Goose Island and the Bourbon County. They're still under them. Like the dollars are still going up. They're still paying in the house. They're still the Sopranos and they're kicking up to the house. You know.
I'll tell you exactly, and I'll tell you this right now. There was the two variants they did last year, the higher one. They were both. One was the Angel's Envy, and one was the Old Forester.
I got both of them. Right. Yeah.
So one was in the red box, and the other one was in the
gray, silver.
Gray sleeve.
Yeah.
Right, it was a sleeve.
Yeah.
The Old Forester was in a sleeve, and then the red box was the Angel's Envy. There are in Jersey, and obviously I'm in off-prem accounts.
Yeah,
Often, right? Selling beer and all. There are a lot of accounts that have many bottles of last year's still on the shelf.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I was going to say.
Them.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. So when I come, because my mother still lives in Mount Laurel, so we come up there a few times a year, right? And I usually hit like Roger Wilco. I got a buddy that works at one of Joe Canals. I'll hit over there. I'll hit some of the other Marlton.
Doug, Bottle Stop, Canals Bottle Stop.
Bottle Stop. Yeah, my buddy BJ that works over there. Yeah. And I know a couple of the other spots that I'll hit up there, and I'll walk in, and they'll be like, "Oh, now here where I'm at here in Maryland, you get them like maybe the first couple of days, and then they're pretty much gone." But I've come up there, and I'll see like they still got bourbon, and I'll be like, and then they still got like I walk past one of the stores, Firestone Walker, one of theirs. $6 a bottle. Everywhere else, it's like 12 or 15. I was like, is this right? And I went over, you see something, you ask the guy, what's the price on this? And he's like, oh, it's $6. Like, okay, thank you. You go back, you get the other 4. So you 100%. Yeah. You wipe it out.
I did that with what did I do that? It was a Firestone Walker. I forget what it was. It was Parabola or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Maybe Succuba. Yeah, Succuba.
I call it Succuba because there's this thing called the succubus.
Right.
So that's why.
But what was Abacus, and then they switched it to Succuba.
I know, but that's why I call it.
But it was one of those beers, and they're normally like $12.99, $10.99, $12.99 a bottle. And I walk into the store, and I was talking to the guy. I was in there for sales and all, and they had the bottle sitting there, and they were $3.99 because they were last year's.
Yeah.
Right.
By
I'm like, right. So
which is funny because some of the store owners don't realize you can sell these beers for a number of years, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you can check.
I grab one. I grab one, and I go up, and I didn't even talk to the manager. I grab one. I go up to the register, and I said, "Can you scan this and tell me how much it is?" Just playing dumb, right? Scans it, $3.99. There was 5 on the shelf. I just took all 5. I'm like, thank you.
But I want
$20 bill got changed, and I walked.
But I want to go back to what Rob was saying about those who bitch about AB InBev owning Goose Island and then drinking,
Bourbon County.
Bourbon County. Because there was a time, because I'm one of those people who will not buy Bourbon County now.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since they took over, because I don't like what InBev does with their money.
Mm-hmm.
They use their money to really stomp on the little guys. Some of the things they've done are absolutely heinous because they've got this huge bank of lawyers they have on retainer with the money they have, and I hate that. So I won't spend money. I will not buy Goose Island, the Bourbon Counties. And so one time I went to a beer festival.
One time? You only went once?
I've been to a bunch, but this one time I went to a beer festival, and
this one time at Beer Fest camp.
I was going to say, I hope it's not like band camp again. But
was there a flute involved?
There were no. Well,
that's a big trombone. What?
was it rusty?
Oh no! All right, come on.
Let's bring this back.
You're back.
But Goose Island was there, and they had BCBS on tap, and I drank it.
Okay.
And someone called me out for being a hypocrite. I'm like, no, I didn't pay for this. They're like, you paid for entrance into the festival, which means you helped pay for this. I'm like, the tickets were comped. I'm clean.
On that note, Doug Smith has commented. He said, have not had a Goose Island beer since 2011. I do not support AB InBev. And then he said, I'm the guy who won't drink Goose Island. I could care less how good the Bourbon County is. Fuck AB InBev.
Yeah. Power, Doug. Power.
He says, if I want boots from Chicago, I'll drink Cold War.
Doug, let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy now. No need to go to the edge. Step back from the ledge, my friend.
There it is, right there. Jepson's Malort.
Oh, I got to say this. Both of you, Doug, you and you, Dave, both of you are fucking nuts. All right?
You're nuts. You're nuts.
Enjoy.
I haven't opened it yet because
Enjoy.
I'm not allowed to open until Carrie gets back.
Why would you need a bottle that big? What's wrong with the little one? Get the little baby one. There's no need to ever get the big one. So when I was in Niagara Falls, one of our people that came in from Chicago, so we had to do a Chicago handshake, and she poured everybody the Malort. Which I drank the Malort. I could drink it. It's like that's the worst thing. Like it's like Malort is here, and then I got like Ouzo and Jägermeister like underneath of it. So it wasn't the worst thing I've ever had. But
where do you put this?
Under that.
I've never had that one, but it's got to be under.
You haven't
probably.
had an Underberg?
Yeah, you got to have an Underberg. You got to just for science. For science.
For science, yeah.
Okay, Rod, I'm going to show you how to do an Underberg.
By the way, I was kidding with both of you. I've had Malort. It sucks, but I can drink it.
It's not the worst thing I've had, right? You know.
Yeah.
So what you have to do with an Underberg is you take the wrapper, you take the paper off, take the top, save the top because you have enough of these. If you like it enough, you save enough of these, you can get awards from them. You're supposed to. Oh, I took the top off first. You're not supposed to do that first. You're supposed to then bang it on the table a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Take the top off, put it down. You're not gonna be able to see this, but you're supposed to put it down. You don't pick it up with your hands. You take it up with your mouth. 45 degrees. If you like cloves, you'll love Underberg. If you don't like cloves, you're going to heave.
I like my favorite style is Belgian ale, so clove wouldn't bother me.
Then you're going to like Underberg. And
Okay.
But the good thing about it is with the herbs that
back in the day, I was known to have a clove cigarette or two.
Yeah, I've had clove cigarettes back then.
Clove cigarette. Oh, okay. Good.
No, clove cigarette.
Oh, not clove.
No, not clove. Clove cigarettes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But one thing that Underberg is good for is actually settling your stomach down, which I really should have drank this earlier today because I had some issues. But no, so
it's like Coke syrup. It's like right?
What is it? Is it alcohol then or not alcohol?
No, it's non-alcoholic.
Okay.
Actually, no, there is actually alcohol.
There's alcohol in it. Yeah,
there actually
a
is
little
alcohol.
bit. It's not a lot.
Is it like Betty Ford NyQuil alcohol or is it like?
Sure. You're looking at three guys that probably should be in that clinic.
Yeah.
You should break it open and lick the inside of the bottle, Dave, if you want to get.
What happened? Well, Betty Ford came over. Oh, it's all going now. Okay.
It'd be a lot more fun if Betty White came over.
Oh, 100%. I would drink. I would have. I would have drank with Betty White. 100%.
I have no doubt that it was a time in Betty White's life where she did shots with people. I can just see Betty White sitting down doing some shots.
Probably several years ago.
Probably.
That woman loved vodka. And John, question for you: would you have done body shots off Betty White?
Hell yeah!
Just to say you did it.
Just to say I did it.
It's like it's Betty White.
Right next door to the Betty Ford clinic, there should be the Betty White clinic for those people who are
Let me put it to you this way. All right, when Betty White was in Golden Girls back in the day, all right, the age she was when that started, we're older than that.
Yeah,
now.
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the person who was the character that was the oldest in the show was actually the youngest.
Right. Yeah.
Actress, on the show.
So,
so where were we? We were
we were talking about the industry, but we pretty much wrapped that up. Chuck just commented. We'll throw that in. We'll read it together.
There we go. We're gonna. I thought we were going to try to sell.
You read out loud. You read out loud.
It's so big of a comment. It's blocking Rod.
I'm down here.
Many of beer were remembered. Will remember beer. Hold on.
How many beers is he in?
Hold on. I'm gonna read it as he typed it. I'm sure it was.
You gotta get a guitar. You gotta many a beer.
No, John. You have to read this as Mike Tyson.
Many a beer will No, I can't do it. Many a beer will remember beer connected to many of our most cherished memories. Younger drinkers are shifting to ready-to-drinks, seltzers, cocktails. In tough financial times, spirits and wine with the higher ABV becomes the drink of choice. Yeah, 100%, Chuck. Yeah. Lastly, I see a lot of drinkers going back to traditional lagers. Traditional styles are coming back. I'm excited to Seymour lagers. 100% I am too.
There's two different.
Hold on, he said, sorry for the typo.
Yeah.
But there's
we're not. We wanted it. We were happy for it.
It's good. It's good for content.
100%.
But there's two things going on here. One is that drinking for ABV, whereas the Gen Xers at the point where we go out. I don't know about you. I look up at the board, and I am looking at ABV, but I'm looking for the lower ABVs.
Yeah, I drink for flavor.
I
never got that memo. I still go high ABV. What do you got up there? Evil Twin Molotov cocktail? Let's start with that.
Hold on. I'll take a 20-ounce pour of that one.
What is that? Is that Avery Rumpkin? Yeah, we'll take that. 17.6.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what the?
Yeah, Can I get two of those in the same glass, please? Thank you.
So
you don't have to give the beer name. Just say Avery.
A few weeks ago, my nephew came in. My nephew, my mother-in-law came in to visit us, and then me and my nephew, we went to the Orioles game. I'm like 2 blocks from the Orioles stadium. So we went to the Orioles game, and we did. Now it's a tradition. They come up every summer. Every summer, me and him go. He's like, I think he's 20. He just turned 25, right? So, and now he's working. He's doing stuff. We always took care of him when he was young because his parents had died when he was younger. So he looks at us like kind of being that leading type thing. So we went to dinner at one of the little places across from the park before we went over. Got some burgers and some beers, and he was all happy because he wanted to pay for it and everything like that because now he's doing his stuff. But it's like, so we're drinking. So we're there, and I'm drinking a beer. He's drinking a beer, and I'm getting like, I don't know, something like 7 or 8. He's drinking like, he tried to match me, and then he went down. He's like, I got to cut down, go my Corona or whatever. He starts to go down. I'm still going other stuff. Then we get to the ballpark, and I'm like, yeah, give me that Flying Dog, like 8% thing. Give me this, give me that, blah, blah, blah. And so we're on, and he's just like, how are you still drinking? He's like, he couldn't keep, I was like, I got the tolerance. You guys, you're too young. You don't know about this yet. You guys, you never got a chance to really get out there and drink. You guys can't handle it now because you never drank like we did. Like we started off young and through school. Like I got to be 21 to get alcohol. Let me get a fake ID out here. Like we found our own ways. I was getting served in high school at 16 at a local liquor store because I could grow a mustache and a beard. I had seniors asking me to buy them beer, so I was a good kid in that regard. We went to a little shop ran by an Indian couple. They didn't know. I mean, I was big for my age. They didn't ask any questions. I didn't tell them any information. We just went ahead and moved on. Like I
don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell.
There was a guy, and I said this on the show before. In a town I grew up in, actually, it was the town right next to that I grew up, but like a block out. One particular place, and I'm not even lying when I said it sounds like a joke, but it's the absolute 100% honest truth. As long as you were tall enough to reach up and put the money on the counter, he served you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you could pull it out, like we were like, one time we went out and we only got kicked out because of one guy just said like the stupidest shit only a high school student would say. But in New Jersey, off of 130, where we grew up in Pearlton, Jersey, they had the little go-go bars. So we went to the go-go bar one night. We were like juniors, seniors in high school.
You said that as past tense. It's still.
I mean, I guess they're still not all new there. Yeah, that's Jersey. But we went there, and it was like, and he said something, and he got kicked out. So it was like, we all had to leave because we came in with him. So they're kind of knew we all didn't have our stuff, and it was just like, see, stupid son of a like. It's like we were all set. Like we could have broken off and told him to walk home. We would have told him to walk home, but we just couldn't do that. So,
you're good.
But yeah, you go to some places when you're they think you're good, and you kind of go for like.
But we're talking about getting your money's worth.
Quick aside on that point, really quick quick sports aside. There's 2 Mets fans here. Whatchamacallit? Lindor's hurt, so they called up Acuna.
Oh, fine.
They did. He played on Sunday or last night or whenever he played, but he just hit his first major league home run for the Mets.
Oh, nice.
So,
did they play Acuna Matata?
They played Acuna Matata. If they did that in Atlanta for his brother,
that should be his at-bat song.
They might have did that in Atlanta for his brother already. I don't know.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that one there. That was too easy.
Yes. Low-hanging fruit you took.
No, 100%. And on that note too, you just said Hakuna Matata. I had to show you this. This was fantastic.
You don't actually have to.
No, I don't have to.
You're not legally bound.
Somebody sent me this the other day.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, James Earl Jones
Yeah.
watching the game. Yeah.
James Earl Jones and James Earl Jones looking at James Earl Jones. Right?
Yeah, Phil Drews.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones actually played my cousin in the movie. Little fact for you.
Really?
Yeah, there was in the 80s. My cousin was Vernon Johns. So my cousin was actually the mentor for Martin Luther King when he took over the church. When they thought my cousin was too much of a rebel rouser, then they bring in this guy named Martin Luther King.
So you don't fall far from the tree, do you?
Yeah. So he basically learned under Vernon Johnson where Vernon Johns kind of left and stuff. So then they, but yeah, back in I think it was 83 or 84 or something like that. But the Vernon Johns story, you can see it on YouTube for free or like that. But James Earl Jones played my cousin Vernon Johns.
There you go.
Well,
powerful movie.
We should pour one out for our home. Well, I'm going to pour it into my face, actually.
Yeah,
not out, into my face.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the getting your money's worth, ordering the high ABV beers, which was really a thing amongst the millennials for a while there. It's why the double IPA became such a big thing, was getting that money's worth. But the other thing that you mentioned, that Chuck mentioned, was this. We're seeing this switch now where I think people are getting over the IPAs. There's that palate fatigue, and we are seeing that move towards lagers, pilsners, the old styles, the German styles, the British styles,
which is great.
Spec lagers. I mean, I'm
loving every minute of that.
I'm wearing a Sacred Profane shirt. This is the first brewery in the United States,
like we did,
where the Czech Republic allowed them to have tanks to become actually a tank room. They're not a tap room. Sacred Profane is a tank room. So, and I've had their beer; they're so damn good.
We've been known to do a lot of New England IPAs, and Dave will tell you. Right now, we have the two beers we have in the tank right now. One of them is
he says he's talking about Coastal Brew Works.
Coastal Brew Works. It's not the lager, guys. Yeah. It's a rye ESB and a Schwartz beer. So.
No, that's awesome. No, I mean, of all the beer styles, the one that gives me the most fatigue is the IPA. Like if my beer fridge. Now, I just came back where we did that that trip to up to Canada, and we had some other stuff where I've had some different IPAs more recently. But of all the styles in my beer fridge, IPAs is the lead. Like right now, I don't have any IPAs in there.
I've got a lot of IPAs because John just dumped a bunch on me.
I did.
Yeah. But I go through points during the course of the year where I do get fatigued, and I'm happy to see breweries doing more of the lagers. In fact, I used to be more of an ale type person until I started getting into more like things like the Mertzens and different other stuff that were lagers, the Bocks and things like that. And now it used to be like, okay, my favorite like a Belgian quad, and then it was like a stout, then an
like
IPA.
ABV,
I do, but now my second favorite style is probably the Rouse beer. And if anybody hands me anything that says St. Carlo on it, I'm on board.
I've got to call you out here, Rod. Rauch beer.
Well, rock beer, okay. I mean, I got lazy on. I got lazy on that. That's all right. You call me out on that. I know better than that. I should have done it.
So, are you part of? Are you on This Week in Rauch beer on Facebook?
I was at one point. I don't know if I'm still in that group or not. I made to join back.
Find it. There you go. There's a Rauch.
Yeah.
From Heater Allen. Yeah.
I've got so many different groups now. If not, I need to. Yeah, because I'll get back into it. But I just did their rot beer review that they came out with. Yeah.
I'm gonna dick swing a little bit here, because part of my tour in Germany, that can that he just held up, not that one, the one prior.
Yeah, from St. Carlo.
Actually, part of my trip to Germany was going to Bamberg.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, more, but I'll leave him at that.
Sitting in Auchenkarla, drinking off the cask. Their Meritzen.
By the way, while he was doing this, he was texting me. It was texting me, and I was sending him back this.
I was texting him constantly.
That's taking it straight from the teat right there.
And I was sucking on that just like Red Fox on that titty bump that he had.
You big dummy!
Have you ever seen his stand-up?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He was the bluest, dirtiest comic back in the day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and I hate to admit this, but every time I'm in the shower, have to think of Red Fox because the whole thing where he's talking about if you want a woman to go down on you, wash your ass. And I'm not talking about your whole ass. I'm talking about your asshole. And that has stuck with me. It's like, thank you, Red Fox, for that.
By the way, you know what Red Fox's birth surname was?
His what?
His birth
name.
Surname. His birth surname.
Say it.
Sanford.
Hence why they did that.
Yeah.
It's the big one. I'm a coming like
You big dummy.
Yeah.
We have lost so many of the younger generation on this show.
No, but yeah, anybody under 40 has tuned out a long time ago. Anyway.
I don't have many problems with that.
I am ready for our top three. What do you think?
You ready, Rod?
All right, top three.
Top three.
Now, this is where Rod and I butt heads again because Rod said he hasn't had a.
Well, why don't we just say what they are first?
Announce it, but then
our top three tonight is top three favorite hangover remedies. Top three favorite hangover remedies.
And Rod said he hasn't had a hangover in a very long time, and so fuck you, Rod.
He says that with love, folks.
I
He really does. He really does.
Okay, Saturday. We talk about me being a hot brow house after 4 liters of beer. Saturday, I was so over.
Well,
and hold on, I got a picture of him. You could see it hung over on Saturday. I'll show you.
Yeah, I was not in good shape. I took a picture on Saturday.
I took a picture of us. Yes,
he took a picture of you,
and a video too.
Oh, we did do a video on Saturday. Yeah, I did. Even as hungover as I was, I still drank the next day.
Yeah.
But
because he's a trooper.
I'm a professional.
That too.
So, Rod, your top three hangover cures. The guest always goes first.
The top three hangovers. Well, two of them I can say that did work that I assume they worked because I didn't have a hangover from it. Were two that were sent to me by a couple companies. One was Drink Aid years back. Drink Aid is basically an electric light type formula that you take a couple like the night before you start drinking, and you take a couple before you go to bed, and you wake up a little bit more refreshed where you don't have that hangover hitting.
So it's basically Pediasure.
Pretty much. I guess. Yeah, pretty much. Right? I don't know if they kick it up to a different level.
That was a Pedialyte and Gatorade and all of that, or did it have yeast in it like Jim Cook?
I don't know if it has the yeast in it. It was one of the companies that reached out to me like 5 years ago, and they're like, "Hey, we do the drink, and we want to see if this might be something to actually work for you." And I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot."
And it worked, right?
And it worked. Well, as far as I know, like I said, I struggle with getting hangovers, but. So I got that one, and I did a video like the next morning, letting people know after I drank. I did it. I got it. I took it. I drank on the video. The next morning, I shot video of me afterwards, and I got accused of maybe not drinking enough when I did the first one. Right. So,
well, you needed a control group, right? Scientific
control group.
Scientific process. You need a control. You need someone who drank 18 quads that night.
Yeah. Well, the next one got sent to me, which is another company, was Morning Care about 3 years ago. So when I got Morning Care sent to me, almost like the same type of thing where you take the drink before, you drink something before you go to bed. So I said, well, okay. So I got accused last time. So this time I got 10 Fireball packs, like 10 shots of the Fireball pack, did the 10 Fireball shots, did like
it was research.
Yeah, it was research. I think
John,
I did like.
Comes back to the pretzels.
I'd have to see if I got the thing here. And I can hold it up here. See, Morning Care.
Morning Care to me sounds more like a feminine hygiene product.
I can see how that comes into play.
I'm just saying they need a better name.
This is a picture of it right there. It's a Morning Care.
Is that a monkey?
No, this is my avatar. The Morning Care in the box.
Oh, the pink side.
Yeah, the light might be blocking it a little bit. Morning Care.
Everything.
It might be a little blurrier. Yeah. So that was something I actually took there, but I did like 10 of the fireballs, this little 10-pack fireball thing, and then I did like 3 or 4 beers and some good size ABV beers. I actually did it. I have to find the video that I did when I was doing it. But people were like, I can't believe you're drinking all this stuff. I'm like, oh, let's see if it kicks in. And next morning I woke up and I was good to go. I was refreshed. I was fine. It really kicked in. So those are kind of a couple that were sent to me. But my thing back in the day, one, because you can only get it if you go there, is a McDonald's Coke. And then getting like something like a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit to get a little grease going in it. And that always kind of kicks in and kind of gets the juices going a little bit. So that would be like my other option there if I have to look at a remedy that we actually would do. Like that goes back to the college years. It was just like, got to bed, I get a McDonald's. Because they do, and it's been officially proven that McDonald's does have a special Coke formula that works well with the ice they actually have there. Yeah, that Coke will kick in with a nice sausage biscuit. So
there you go.
Yeah,
100%. All right,
I will.
You're up, Dave.
So my number 3 goes back to my college days, and you brought up McDonald's, and McDonald's because what I would do is when I would go to McDonald's, I can't stand eating at McDonald's, but because I don't like eating at any chain, except for maybe Waffle House, In-N-Out Burger, and White Castle. But what I would do in college is I'd go to McDonald's. I'd get a whole bunch of Big Macs.
A whole bunch.
I would put them in the fridge, and when I woke up in the morning, hungover, I'd grab a cold Big Mac, and the cold Big Mac. That would bring me there. That would be it. That would be the thing that would help get me over my hangover. It was the only thing that I could stomach. Believe it or not, I can't stomach McDonald's now, but back then with a hangover in college, it was the only thing I could stomach.
Yeah.
You brought up the grease. There's so many ways. The Irish will fry anything. So that's how they get over a lot of their hangovers. I live in Union City, New Jersey. I'm speaking English is in the minority here. So getting grease here, the best way to get grease here into your system to break down a hangover, empanadas.
Oh, okay.
And there's so many places here that will do that. Get those empanadas. But one of the keys to getting over a hangover is basically dehydration. So you need to rehydrate.
Right.
There's so many ways to rehydrate. One of the most effective ways I saw, and this is actually not my number 1, John, and I've done this, I've proven this, where
this is something else you just
this
saying.
is a side thing, where
throw another one out there.
Drinking pickle juice the night before while you're drinking, those picklebacks, they work. They actually do work. But if I'm hungover, I get up in the morning, I don't want to drink pickle juice. That's not going to happen. So that's why it's not my number 1. Water, of course, that's the best way to hydrate. Well, the most obvious way to hydrate. But my number 1, coconut water.
Coconut water.
Oh, okay.
Coconut. My beer fridge actually always has a couple boxes of Vita Coco in it. This is not an ad spot. They're not paying us anything. We should get them as a sponsor, John.
Unfortunately, now that you've said that, we can go to them. So.
Yeah, let's go. But I always keep a couple boxes in the fridge of coconut water because it's really a great hydration tool. And a couple of those in the morning, and it really speeds me on my way. But one quick honorable mention, and I got this from Dougie and Doug Edwards.
Dougie,
if you've got a pool available, jump in the goddamn pool. That'll wake your ass up. All right.
Yeah.
A dip in a pool. I'm a big fan of Three Sheets, watching Zane Lamprey jump into the Adriatic and after getting drunk as fucking in Croatia. That's actually another good way. But just as
jump into the pool. I feel bad now because I didn't have a pool for him to jump in when he fell asleep on a New Year's Eve on my air hockey table.
Zane?
Dougie.
Oh, Dougie, yeah. I thought about Zane.
Yeah. No, it's not Zane Lamprey. No, he was.
I wish I had the picture up of Zane and me. That was a good fun.
I probably have it right nearby.
I know I've sent it to you.
Hold on.
Yeah, because Zane Lamprey does his comedy show, and he does his comedy show exclusively at breweries. And he was at a local brewery, Bolero Snort, who's the owners are friends of ours. And I went there, and there's like 3 shots.
Oh, the picture. Yeah, here it is. There you go.
There we go. So if you see that, I'm over there. It starts off with, you can see Kerry in the shot in the first one. Then it gets closer and closer because he grabs my phone, does that, and then it's just all him with just me off to the side.
Right.
But that's the way he does it. But yes. So,
all right.
Johnny, yours.
My 3. Okay, I will start with. I'm going to do an honorable mention, but like you did, I'll do it later. So, whatchamacallit? My number 3. In keeping with the food aspect and the grease aspect that the two of you had started, I'll tell you mine, and that would be cold pizza, especially pepperoni.
Cold pizza. Okay.
Especially pepperoni. If there's 2, sometimes 3 slices of cold pepperoni pizza in the fridge, eat it. Done. Within
you got your grease, and you are
they're soaking it with the bread.
Done. And you got the carbs, you got the grease, and you're so damn Jersey.
Yep, exactly. Cold pepperoni pizza. Cold pepperoni pizza. There you go. My number 2, and this is mine. And some people will actually say, obviously, this is a hangover remedy for a lot of people. Will say this, but it's different for me. Tomato juice with lemon juice and pepper. So it's
almost a Bloody Mary.
It's Bloody Mary.
I was thinking of Bloody Mary earlier. Yeah,
but no vodka, no Tabasco, just tomato juice, lemon juice, and pepper.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Fresh lemon juice too. Squeeze the lemon juice in it. And I mean,
wait a second. You're hungover and you're fresh squeezing lemons.
Yep.
Yep.
I do it.
Then you're not that hungover.
No. I've done it. I've done it like this.
He's walking around like the dude.
My favorite part about the dude was him sniffing the half and half at the beginning, and then the quick take. It's got to be fresh half and half.
And my number 1, and this is the most important one. I think this is literally the most important one of anybody's. Ready? Don't get one.
That's not a cure.
No.
That's prevention.
No. I'm not done.
You didn't read the. Did you?
I know. But it's a hangover cure on the opposite side. Don't get one by taking. Hold on, I'm not done. By taking aspirin and drinking a shit ton of water before you go to bed, and a bunch of water proactively after you wake up in the morning. So
you can do that before you go to bed.
It's a hangover cure.
Okay.
By preventing it from, once it actually kicks in, you take the 2 aspirin before you go to bed. For me, it's Advil liquid gels. I'll give you that. For me, it's Advil liquid gels. All right, take
Big
2.
Fan of Advil.
Sometimes 3. If I actually feel it coming on already before I go to bed, I'll take 3, not 2. And they tell you not to, but
don't take 18.
Right? Yeah,
you take 18, right?
Can you just speed it up with a cup of Vicodin?
You could do it. You could.
That'd be a whole different situation, though.
18 Advils, 3 Vicodins, and maybe 3 ounces of meth. You won't have a hangover.
And 2 gummies. And 2 gummies.
Yeah.
You will not have a hangover in the morning because there will be no morning. Yeah.
But no, take 2 aspirin and drink a shit ton of water and go to bed. And you're going to wake up a couple times. And if you're that drunk, you're not going to wake up and you're going to have to change the sheets in the morning. But that's besides the point.
Stories of friends, not me.
Right. And then drink more water in the morning. My honorable mention is the Gatorade. The Gatorade before bed. Water for me. Yeah. Gatorade before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning too. If you don't have Gatorade, water does it. But if you have Gatorade, replace the water with the Gatorade.
The one thing that none of us mentioned.
What?
Hair of the dog.
Drink more alcohol when you wake up.
Well,
I've never been able to do that. If I'm that shot and I actually have a splitting headache and I'm nauseous and I have a bad hangover, I've never been able to take a drink.
In college,
Never been able to do it.
And okay, so many people,
and I've tried. I've never been able to do it.
Many people of our age have heard of the whole thing of beer and Fruit Loops. Beer and Fruit Loops is disgusting.
No, I've been there. I've done it. I've had beer and Fruit Loops.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Well, it depends on the beer you put in.
Well, I mean, Fruit Loops will be a grain that makes beer.
Mm-hmm.
It can be. But
and I got to be honest with you. You know what beer actually was the best? And certainly not good, but the best of the beers in Fruit Loops? And I'm not even kidding you.
What's this?
Coors Banquet. That was the best of the beers in Fruit Loops. Yep.
But I had a different take on it because my roommate in college, he would do beer and Fruit Loops in the morning for the hair of the dog. What I would do is I'd put the milk into my Captain Crunch, and then I'd pour Kahlua in it.
Kahlua into the milk. I mean, if you're going to put Kahlua in something, milk would not be a bad option, just like ice cream.
I got to be honest with you, though, dude. All right.
Yeah, that's cheating. I get it. It's cheating, but it was delicious, and it helped keep the buzz going.
I get it, but I got to be honest with you. What 20-year-old was thinking about putting Kahlua in milk?
Me. Because I always.
You're an outlier. You're an outlier.
I consider myself not so much an outlier as a revolutionary.
There you go. Potato. All right.
Potato. You can fry them. You can mash them. You can put them in a stew.
Chuck just commented in. He said his number one drink, number two more, number three beer.
There it is. Hair of the dog, right there. This is said by a brewery owner right here.
It's like drink yourself out of it. Drink yourself out of it.
If you've got the cojones, just drink yourself out.
But those have always worked for me. And if I take aspirin before bed, drink a lot of water, drink water or Gatorade when I wake up in the morning, eat 2 slices of cold pizza with a tomato juice with lemon juice and pepper, I'm golden.
Well, stay frosty, golden boy.
Yeah. Stay frosty.
Yeah, I combined 2 different movies right there.
We're never mind. That's fine.
You know what I did there.
I know you did there. So anyway, cool. All right. What's next on the horizon for Rajay Beer Ventures?
Well, I mean, Thursday nights we do the live stream. So that's like a happy hour where me and my 2 co-hosts, Mal from A Perfectly Neat Crafts and Todd and Shannon, they just actually launched their beer channel. So we have them on.
Cast Todd and Shannon.
Well, they're a married couple, so they're one screen. Wait a minute. What were you saying? What were you thinking?
Todd and Shannon's. What am I thinking?
And they do What's Your Beer?
You're thinking of Todd Pettengill and Scott Shannon.
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm thinking of. Like, Todd Shannon, that sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
The WPLJ team back in the day.
Yes. Oh, that's right. It was a disc jockey. That's right. It wasn't sports. Okay.
Todd Pettengill and Scott Shannon. Yeah.
That was the morning show.
The morning show, yeah.
Yeah. So we do that Thursday nights. We have like the happy hour.
I don't think none of us really do morning, do we?
No. Well, my buddy's in the UK because it's night for them, right, or whatever. So, or Australia, like our buddy Sammy over there. But so we do that Thursday nights, 8 a.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. Right, you got me thinking more than that. 8 p.m. Eastern. That's usually a pretty good fun time. We encourage people to come in. We drink beer. We talk some about beer, but we get more into entertainment and provide laughs as we head into the weekend. And we never know where that show's going to actually go. We kind of let the audience drive the cars, so to speak, as far as topics. We have some things we'll put out there, but once things start to go sideways, we kind of roll with it. It's like a roller coaster that we may crash, but we may make it back around. We don't know. We don't know until we do it, right? So
sideways is the best way to go.
It's the best way to go.
Sideways is the only way to go, I think, honestly.
Yeah. But so that's been like a big,
unless you're in an elevator.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that's been like a big
Sideways is bad.
That's like a big thing that we do each week. But more beer reviews. I'm doing more beer videos, more educational stuff around beer. I'm going to be releasing more brewery interviews upcoming. I'd like to get some more of those back on the calendar. Just relaunched doing beer spotlights on the channel where I interview various people from around the not just the brewing industry, but also YouTube industry, the beer writers, whatever I get on there. So I got next week, I have one of the guys coming on, Nutmeg to Palmetto, from his channel that he does a lot of beer stuff. Sure. Just did one with Dutch Beer Greek. He's over in Amsterdam. We had a great one on his thing last Sunday. So each week I'm trying to get something filtered through. Talking with some of the other people, I had Left Hand on a few months back. Oh, cool. Or actually earlier, it's longer than that. I think the summer just flew by, but we had them on earlier this year. We had Go Brewing on, who does a big NA beer out of Chicago. So we're getting a lot of different stuff happening and just trying to get more exposure, tell those stories, and then kind of doing stuff with the Facebook page and getting stuff out there, the podcast, trying to put stuff on that. So, when I'm not working a day job, just trying to do everything I can around beer and
that damn day job.
So trying to do that, trying to get maybe some more. I haven't been to any beer festivals in a while, so I may hit some stuff there. Guinness here. I'm in Baltimore, so we have the Guinness Brewery. So
wait a second. I thought that closed. It reopened?
No, never closed. Guinness Brewery never closed. They sold off a part of it, but that never closed. Yeah. And so this weekend, in the following 2 weekends, they have Oktoberfest kicking off. So they have a bunch of stuff happening over there. So may do some stuff, may shoot over there, do some things. But, just kind of out there in the beer world, if people are doing beer, I want to know about them and kind of keep sharing their stories and stuff. Nice. So it's been good.
Awesome.
Couple questions for you. Well, at least one. I forgot the second one. I came up with it. You're in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Chaps Pit Beef.
Still haven't had it though.
You've not been to Chaps? Oh,
I've seen Chaps. I've been around Chaps. I never went in and sat down to eat anything. And that's something that people tell me I need to try, but I just haven't got to it.
I'm going to get on that bandwagon and tell you. Well, you need to get the Chaps.
Okay.
Back in the day, they were a little better because they used to have. They don't have it now. They used to have the raw horseradish on the fixings bar.
Oh, okay. They have a fixings bar and everything there too. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There's
3 or 4 different barbecue sauces you can use there.
Okay.
But yeah, you need to get the Chaps.
I've literally been in the parking lot with Chaps, and I thought about going in before, but I just wasn't hungry, so I didn't go in.
Wait a second. So you were there for the Gentleman's Club then?
No.
Which is right across the parking lot.
I dropped my wife off to get her nails done. I go into Best Buy, but Chaps is right in that same plaza.
Likely story.
So,
okay. Go get your nails done. I was there, but I went to P. Diddy's house instead.
Yeah,
but
there's no gentleman.
That's different. That's different chaps.
Was R. Kelly over that day?
That's different chaps over there.
R. Kelly's.
Oh yeah, different chaps. Different chaps. Completely different chaps.
Yeah. And I will say something right now, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. All chaps are assless.
I thought they all were. I mean,
right? Because who
wears chaps that have
Howard Stern came out.
If you wear chaps
on MTV, Howard Stern on MTV did the chaps.
But he did assless chaps. No, all chaps are assless. Sorry, Howard, you're not.
I mean, even when you saw Cowboys do chaps, they had jeans on underneath, right? Like, so it was like,
but it's still,
it's exposed. It's still, So,
just saying.
All right. Well, thank you for taking that turn right there.
That's kind of like our Thursday night show right there, John. That's how it usually goes. Yes.
But here's a second thing for Rod. You have merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So earlier you said you're not that big. You're big enough to have merchandising.
I mean, Yeah, in that regard. I mean, yeah. So one of the things you get monetized on YouTube. So I went ahead and set up like the Spreadshirt where they can people
do?
get.
What's that like? We're on YouTube.
We've got almost 200 shows on YouTube, and
not as grandeur as some people might think, but it's a little. It pays for beer during the course of the year, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's enough of a fan base that I do the shirts and I do the hats, and I've had glassware. And I have a few fans. One of the fans has got a hoodie on the show. I mean, so it's not like huge. Like I don't push it like a lot of people try to push a lot of stuff. It's out there. When I run videos, you'll see it on the bottom where you can get merch and stuff like that and everything. But it's all about support. And if people want to do that and want to kind of rock it, having a good time, I've built up a fandom, which is nice to have a fandom, right? So to have all kind of stuff, and
that must be nice.
It's kind of cool. I mean, I'm sure you guys had to say I got here because of one of your fans, Tom. So Beer Whisperer was the one that's like, you got to check out Johnny, and you got to come over to the blogger.
He's not a fan; he's a friend.
Yeah, and I'm
he's both.
Yeah, a lot of people that watch are friends now that watch the channel and stuff like that, and it's always a friendly atmosphere, and it's like. It's it's a cool little thing, but yeah, it's like, you can put it out there and have stuff.
What kind of atmosphere did you call it?
Friendly atmosphere.
Oh, friendly. I didn't know, because I was in my head, it was either frilly or family. And like, family's wrong.
Friendly.
Yeah, friendly atmosphere. Yeah. So
it's not a frilly atmosphere either.
Frilly.
Now we're back to the assless chaps, but then
we might be back to P. Diddy on frilly.
Or R. Kelly. I don't know. But yeah, so it's, it's all about having fun. So that's all I kind of do, and kind of being able to do that. And the people that gravitate to the channel, it seems to really enjoy that and like a lot of that stuff. And I do this channel, and I haven't done my other channel. I haven't done as much with. I need to, because people have been asking me to come back to that one. So I have a reaction channel. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I have a music reaction channel. Okay, we talked about before the show where all of us at different times were DJs. So back in the 90s, I was a DJ, and had a really big appreciation for music, so I did a music reaction channel on YouTube. So that channel, what I usually do is like just react to a lot of the artists. They've been mainly artists out of the UK right now, and kind of give feedback. And a lot of people like that because they're like, they look at me being this older, what they call the OG, looking at the young G's, right? So I'm able to give perspective. And when I get good artists, I can say, oh, this is good how they did it from this to this to this, versus like, because it's not none of the bubblegum stuff that you usually hear like on the top 40 radio, right? So it's kind of like a lot of breakdown. I give a little synopsis on stuff. And that's a fun channel to actually do as well. It's just time is so short to do everything. Like we talked about Weather Souls. That's why, he had to leave one to go to the other. For Marcus, it's fun. You have these different passions, so you try to find spots to satisfy it. So YouTube's a great thing. I think everybody should have a YouTube channel, in my own opinion, because
as long as you have a passion.
As long as you have a passion for it, and especially like guys like our age or women, I say guys general, so men or women, but there's things that you can share with other people. There's a market out there where people want to hear about that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like it's just a great opportunity to share those things. So for me, I love sharing the stuff around beer, and I love sharing the stuff around music, and I try to follow that. I do gaming as well, but I don't do it as much to keep up on that channel, but I have a small channel there as well.
But when you're talking about music, one of my favorite statements about music right now is if you think all the music out there sucks and there's no great music anymore, you're not looking hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like from that channel that you absolutely 100% agree with that if you delve and you look, there is some great music out there.
Oh, there's very some, yeah.
They're just not signed.
Yeah.
Because that's not what the labels want.
Yeah, and it's different because you guys know from DJ, and I don't know when you guys DJ, but I'm thinking you're probably back me like 90s, 80s, somewhere
late 80s,
right? And so we grew up in a time where we had the independent music station before all the market before, So we were exposed to a lot of that. Now you have, I think it's 6 companies own like 91% of media, so everything is sounding kind of alike. Everything's rotated the same way. They're all trying to get people to sound the same thing, and it's just we were able to have a different view on stuff, and that's when I bring kind of that channel, just being able to share those. Like I can hear artists, like I do, like what I've been doing at the UK. A lot of it's been more some of the hip hop over there, but I've also done some of the rock type stuff. And you can hear the stuff coming through. And it's like, oh, this artist reminds me of so-and-so back in the day. And now people comment. It's funny you say that because they talk about that other artist as being inspiring for them. I'm able to pick that up because of having that music knowledge and being able to.
This one band that I hooked on years and years ago was just that surge, and now they've been around for a while, so they're not a new band. But the Wombats, I mean, they're doing some. I love them. I love what they do. But if you were a disc jockey back in the '90s, did you know CMJ?
Yes.
Yeah. CMJ was just the core of getting that new stuff out there. CMJ was College Music Journal.
Yeah. See, I was listed in the Gavin Report as one of the top hip hop radio DJs in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because when I was in college, I was a disc jockey on one of the campuses at Rutgers. My brother was a disc jockey on one of the other campuses.
Okay.
And he was in the bigger stage.
Oh, okay.
And he was in the bigger stage. But the coolest part was at one point they had a demo from a very, very well-known band. They went by the name of Queen.
Might have heard something about them.
Yeah, you may have heard it. They had this, not a demo, but it was a pre-release. It was a pre-release, and they couldn't play it for another 4 days. My brother calls me because you couldn't text back then because there was no cell phones. He calls me. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, we've got this new song coming out from Queen. When's your next show? I said, tomorrow night. He's like, okay, meet me here. He breaks into the office, grabs this, because he knows damn well our station is small enough that no one's going to notice.
Mm.
He hands me the disc. It's vinyl.
Mm.
I have it somewhere. It's in a box in storage. I need a shirt that says that because that's what we say on the show. But he gives it to me. I go online. I swear to God, I will premiered. I Want It All.
Yeah,
by Queen. That's what he handed me. I played that small AM station. FCC's not listening.
Yeah.
Well,
it's fun now anyway.
3 days before it was officially released.
Released. There you go.
Yeah,
I love it.
So, but that's the whole point. When you're in that disc jockeying world, and you can discover all this new music.
Yeah. And it was great because we were alternative station for it was the main format, right? So we'd have alternative, and then we'd have specialty shows we would break off into where you do like R&B, house, blue. I went to school at WVU, so you'd have bluegrass, you'd have hip hop, you'd have all kinds of stuff, right? But alternative, you had to start out with 12 to 3 or a 3 to 6 shift overnight because you do that for a semester because the music. The person that ran the station wanted to make sure you were serious about the craft. So that's what you do. You had to pay your dues, as we used to say back in the day. And it was great because being exposed to the alternative just opened up a lot more of the music and stuff. So I was playing like Cowboy Junkies. We were playing early. We were playing early REM. We were playing Rollins Band. We were playing all these different things that you would not usually be exposed. And it just opened up the appreciation for the music and for the art and stuff. And then you hear other stuff. You're like, and then
black stuff, nice.
Yeah. And then when I was like a DJ. Because we would also do like DJ, we do parties and stuff. It's like, oh, if I put this little bass line down from like the Rollins Band on this one, it like blow people's mind. Like, where did you get that from? It's like it just opened up so many different ways to kind of do Cypress. I was there when Cypress Hill's first album came out. We played that, and my music director when I was doing this, he's like, you got to listen to this album. And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, this group out of California, Cypress Hill. And he was like, you got to check it out. And then the one that got me was on that album, the Funky Feel one. When I heard the Funky Feel one and the way the track would drop in the bass line, I'm like, that's my shit right there. I'm putting that shit on tonight. Like,
bring that Rollin bass.
Yeah.
You've got Liar stuck in my head right now, but
yeah. We do Smashing Pumpkins, and we would do all these different, and with the group, when it was like we had early Nirvana, is like when a group became too big, when they went to the pop, then we stopped playing them.
Still playing,
we stopped playing. But that was a good thing. We were a breaking ground station.
Oh, so you're one of the original hipsters.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Once you're too big, we can't play you anymore.
Yeah,
You're AB and Bev. We can't fuck with you. You're AB and Bev now.
It's done. It's done. You signed a contract. We're done with you.
You're over there with Molson Coors. Can't mess with you.
Yeah. All right. So before we go, give everybody the times and dates of your shows, the Thursday night show, any of the other shows you do, or anything.
Yeah. So the one consistent is Thursday nights at 8 Eastern is when we do the happy hour live stream, and that. 8 p.m. Eastern. Did I say AM again? 8 p.m.
No, you
Eastern.
did. You said Thursday night, though.
Yeah, Thursday night, 8 p.m.
That's fine.
Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Thursday night at 8 a.m.
Yeah. Depending what part of the world you're in. But, and that'll usually, it's funny. We used to start the show at 9, right, and we'd be up to like 12:30 because when things roll on this show, if you've ever seen it, you'll see it and you'll be like, time flies quickly in the stuff that we get into.
So like this show right here.
Yeah, like right. So I'm like, let's move it up to 8, and then we'll be done by 11. No, now we got like 8 to 12. And it's like we tried to end early. Now we're going longer, but it's a great time. We crack open beers. We talk about beers we're actually drinking. We talk about some of the beer stuff, but we get into other stuff that's happening out there in the world. We have fun with it and different stories. At some points in the show, we'll have people search an Urban Dictionary for words and watch the surprise on their face when they find out what it means. So we just have fun with it. I've had people in the comment like they're crying watching the show but it puts everybody a smile on your face as you head into that Friday going into the weekend. So that's the main purpose of it. And it gives a chance for all the viewers to interact with me that like to watch the stuff that we're doing there. And then usually what I'm trying to do during the course of the week, I'm trying to get back to maybe doing a video like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at least of a beer review or some type of beer type highlight, something around beers I can post out there. I may start adding a little bit more live streams, but right now I'm kind of focused on that. The beer spotlight, I think next Tuesday at 8 Eastern is when I'll have Nutmeg to Palmetto on. We'll talk about his beer channel, sharing that kind of stuff. I also have like the podcast, Rajay Beer Ventures, that you can get on Spotify and iTunes on. A lot of people, if they don't see the YouTube, they'll put it on the podcast and they'll listen to while they're working or doing some other stuff. Obviously, the Facebook page, I'm always putting stuff on there, not just about me, but the beer news, right? So I share the beer news articles, things about Weather Souls and other things happening in the beer industry. So following the Facebook page is always good. Or if you follow the main thing, if you follow RajayBeerVentures.com, that's the main site and blog that has all the links there.
I'm going to be right.
Okay. That has all the links and stuff there that people can connect to and see a lot of the details. But I'm pretty much everywhere. Instagram, X. I mean, anybody puts in Rajay Beer Ventures, I'll pop up for something. So
there you go. That's awesome.
But it's good.
Well, I think I speak for Dave, who is obviously relieving himself when I say, and I'm actually shocked that he held it this long because he's usually over there. His time to go to the bathroom is usually when I do my top 3. That's usually times it for that, right? But in any event, that aside, I think I speak for him when I say thank you so much for coming on. We absolutely need to have you back on the show soon.
Definitely.
100%.
Let me know.
This was an awesome show, 100% of it. And anything we can do with you on your stuff, let us know. Whatever, we're game.
Yeah, I'd love to get you guys on, do like a spotlight or whatever about the things you're doing as well, and
whatever you want to do.
And again, I gotta give a shout out to Tom, the Beer Whisperer, who got us together. He's like, he's the one that got the bug in my ear. Like, you got to catch up with these guys over at the locker room.
He did say it too, and we do our other show on Wednesday, every other Wednesday night. Tomorrow night's the one. It's the End of Chaser podcast. It's the we pair a cocktail or a drink or a spirit with a beer. It's about an hour long on Wednesday nights. And then, of course, after that show, I go right into because it's every other week, I go right into a sports podcast. But that's besides.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's called the Get On With It sports podcast.
Okay.
So that's fun. So it's those two every other week. So every other Wednesday we're available, so we can figure something out. But
okay, yeah, definitely.
Like I said, I told Dave you're muted. You can unmute yourself if you want to say anything before we sign off.
Well, yeah, because tomorrow we do the End of Chaser.
I just told him, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So any of that stuff is great. But on that note, stick around. We want to talk to you for a couple minutes when we wrap up. We'll wrap up the show on that note for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.loggerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember,
you can actually do this without the script.
like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course the YouTube channel. All of them are at the Logger Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We were late tonight for scheduling.
That was a schedule.
Scheduling. Yeah. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you will find the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. And don't forget to check out everything on Rod's channels at Rod J Beer Ventures. Obviously, that's on YouTube, that's on Facebook, on Instagram, on X. Check out all of his shows as well. And he just said the Thursday night, and of course his other reviews on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and his other shows he does.
Yeah, definitely checking those. One of these days, we've talked about it. I'm going to have the 1 liter boot, and I'm going to race him and see if I can finish it before he finishes the outro.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway,
I've done the liter challenge before. It does take a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I've done a 2 liter challenge.
So, okay.
And the best part about
he's
that,
going to fill it with water. He's not going to drink beer. He's going to fill it with water.
No,
but I guarantee you, some of the water is going to end up on his.
It'll be beer. That 2 liter boot challenge that we did the one time. One of the contestants in it wound up at the toilet with foam coming out of his nose and mouth.
Ooh,
it was. Well, it was funny.
He didn't get rid of the CO2. He didn't do a hard pour. He didn't get rid of CO2 in the.
No, it wasn't that. The beer we're drinking is a beer that's a little overcarbonated.
Fair enough.
And when the person decided what beer we're drinking for the challenge, told me what the beer was, I'm like, "You're cruel. That's just wrong. Someone is going to throw up."
And he did.
I don't know if you call it throwing up, but it's just all foam.
He foamed up.
He foamed up. He foamed out.
He foamed out.
Yeah.
Like Cujo.
Here you go.
Oh no, Cujo had nothing on this guy. I mean, this was just straight up. It'd be like just foaming up Niagara Falls. This is what. Oh, it's good.
Anyway. All right. On that note, Rod, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Fantastic show. Again, I told him while you were relieving yourself that he's definitely coming back on very soon. This is fantastic.
Yeah, that was not a Tom Hanks level.
No, that wasn't, or an ogre in Revenge of the Nerds 3.
Yeah, so we'll see about the boarding.
We'll figure that out. But we will.
Who on the show has actually timed to see if they can beat Tom Hanks and ogre?
I haven't, and
I haven't.
Is Tom Hanks and ogre longer than Austin Powers?
That might be 2. Yeah, that might be 1 too.
Yeah, we need to get time clocks.
Well, we're gonna have to check all 3 of those and get a time down and then see if we can beat it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anyway,
I guarantee I can beat it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we'll talk to you soon, folks. Take care.
Zoom fall.
Cheers.
Prost.